Right, let's just start this. Hopefully you can hear me all fine. Um, I'm still having to look all the way over there, which is going to be the machine I need to look at anyway for my stream management stuff. But it is still running from one machine, so I am still unfortunately on one machine. I just haven't had time to replace the reservoir on my secondary machine. So we'll get into that hopefully next week if I get time. I have increased the font though on my little admin console, so hopefully I can manage AMK points and stuff a little bit easier than I did last time. Sid is a little loud. All right, let me knock that down ever so slightly. There you go. Hopefully the sound coming out of my speakers is not picked up by the microphone, because if that is the case, I might have to start wearing headphones as well. But I'm not set up for that at the moment, so we'll just have to see how we get on. With stuff. I have made a few changes based on last week's feedback. So I've swapped the camera around so you can see the cameras now here instead of at the bottom. So when I start the races, which I'll do right now, actually, let's add points to everybody and start the races. Oh, this is going to be fun from over here. All right, let's see if I can do this. Oh. There we go. Oh, interesting. I didn't see. Thank you for the bit, Anonymous Chair, but I did not see an alert come up, which is not good. Let me refresh my alert overlay. Hang on. Chat and alerts. That's that one. Brr. So it will clear the chat, I think, but. And there we go. God, I can't see properly. Let me just drag this over for a second. Ah, there we go. But now I can't hear the alerts. Okay. Oh, you saw it, but I didn't. Okay, thank you for the bits as well, Nick. I don't know why they're not sounding very well, but it's probably Player.me doing something weird, because I use their service for the alerts now, because I can customize them. I will check them out. If we're still not getting any sound from them, I will check them out at some point. I'll just bring it up over here. So yeah, I've not really had an awful lot of time to do stuff. But I have kind of made some minor tweaks to this overlay. This was working before, so let me just give it a quick test. So for those who haven't used Player.me, I'll show you it here. It's a really nice little system for doing overlays. It allows you to basically create kind of custom overlay things like chat and stuff like that. So let's do the bits alert. So there was a cheer alert here. Here we go. So everything's in okay. The audio is set to 100%. That's for text to speech. And then the custom video is set to 74% volume. So it should be fine. So if I just save that and go to test it. And now I can send it to the live overlay, and hopefully you'll see that on here. But not getting any sound from it. That's interesting. Oh, maybe because I need to add it in separately. Hang on. Control audio via OBS. There we go. And then if I just come into here, not that one. I should do all this before stream, shouldn't I, really? But okay, there we go. Hopefully.
This is a message from Long Sun.
2, 3. Outrun.
Did you get that? Very loud. Okay. But now I can control the alerts volume separately here as well, which is kind of nice. So there we go. So let's do one more test of that. Let's do a raid. Oh, does that work? Hey, Leiden. Let's keep it down there. There we go. This may never hear anything ever again. Shoutouts are broken. Shoutouts is a Stream Elements thing, I think, isn't it? It shouldn't be affected by anything I've got going here. I believe it's Stream Elements anyway. It might even just be a Twitch standard thing. Certainly nothing. Let me check. Oh God, we're going to spend all day doing this, aren't we? But it's fine. I want to kind of get these things right, so let me just check Stream Elements. I'm pretty sure it's on there, or Streamlabs maybe. I think it's Streamlabs actually. Yeah, Play.me is a really nice system for doing. You can do lots of things, so you can create your overlay as well on there. You don't just have to do alerts and stuff. You can actually do your overlay fix as well and stuff. So it seems pretty good. Let's just have a look. Is CloudBot turned on? CloudBot. Oh no, CloudBot is off for some reason. Why was that off? Oh, everything is off. Hang on. Well, the commands are on. Modules are off. Okay, should be fine now. Same for you as well. That's weird, isn't it? I wonder why that is. Okay, well, it should be all right now. If you do a shout out again, it should be fine, I think. She must have waited for me to turn clever up and make sure. Oh, maybe. Oh. I'll look at it afterwards. I don't know why that's not working. But if you want to check out Old School Coder, click on his name, give him a follow, subscribe to him. Another great coder. Lots of cool coders to follow on here. But I think you were doing Twitch bots at the moment, aren't you? I think, John. From what I remember, anyway. Oh, it's Andy's birthday. And now that seems really quiet. It did to me anyway. Thank you very much for the gift sub 2 steps from Andy. Thank you. I was sneaking a Jackbox into this. No, not yet. I'm not set up for that yet at the moment. I'm still kind of fighting with the equipment in here at the moment, so which is why it's a little bit kind of a little bit all over the show. But I think we will probably start doing some Jackbox next week as well. So tonight we're just going to do some Cecconoid. I just want to get to the point where we have the new map in place. With all the adjustments that we need, and then we can do. Basically, we're just going to start ploughing through room by room, sorting the code out. We've done quite a lot of the complicated stuff already. There's only a few kind of bits that are unique that we haven't dealt with yet. The majority of the rooms are really just going to be kind of building and testing them, and making sure that they do what they need to do, and then moving on to the next one. It should be fairly quick. Thank you very much for the sub, Kelso, and welcome along, Kodiogo, as well. Thank you for the great streams. You're welcome. Absolutely welcome. And thank you for the gift sub to Acmafin as well, Andy. Appreciate it. Well, we're already 50 minutes in, and I've not really done anything yet. So let's start by running this. I'm on a slightly different keyboard as well at the moment, so I'm using a Keychron V2 at the moment. I don't know if you can see that. So I had the V8 last week, which is the same keyboard, but it's the 10 keyless one, so it's a bit longer. Has the arrow keys separate, whereas this is a bit short, and this is brown switches instead of, I think it was think it was Gator on Reds on the last one. But it was very very fiddly, the other keyboard, very sensitive on the there's a small noise in the audio. Oh yeah, I haven't started the racism. Oh, my cat is starting to cry now. What are you crying about? It's very hard for me to hear because it's all coming through my let me turn that up a little bit. It's coming through my my speakers. So, yeah, let me know if there's anything. The thing is it's going to change. So at the moment, everything is still running through my main machine. And in the future, as soon as I've got the machine fixed, I will be working on the secondary machine for the stream. So that's going to be the important one. If the sound sounds wrong, then we know we've got a problem. Thanks for the gift sub to Thalamus, Andy, as well. You're very generous. Thank you very much indeed. I bought a PlayStation 3 today as well. I've got it sat under my TV because I got the PlayStation 5 under the TV just down there. I wanted to, because it plays PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 games. I wanted to get a PlayStation 3 original 60 gig version. With the original design, because it also plays PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 games. So now I've got two PlayStations under the TV that can play the entire PlayStation catalogue, which I'm quite pleased with. Just need to get all the games now. Hey Sean, how's it going? Right, time for Horizon. Horizon's good. Horizon 5 is really nice. I've enjoyed playing that. And I've been playing it on the PS5. I've been playing it on the PC and on the Xbox. I play it on the PC when I'm down here and go to the bedroom. I've got the Xbox upstairs as my bedtime treat. I can play all the Tomb Raiders from beginning to end on the original Sony hardware. Okay, so let me get the cursor over here. So we put the new title screen in. Oh, the HUD. That's what I need to do. Okay, so we've got no HUD at the moment. I can't go up there because I need to start on this screen, don't I? So I think that was it. I think that was the only thing we needed to do was the HUD. I think everything else explodes as required. Thanks for the resub, Sean. Appreciate it as ever. Yeah, so stuff is being drawn up there. But I guess it's a colour thing. I reckon the colours are wrong. But if we just go into... What's that? What? No, I don't want this. Go away. It's a Windows 11 thing. Activate monitor, Alt and H. That's what I'm pressing. And it's bringing up this crap. For God's sake, all right. Yeah, it's loads of zeros here. So if I fill... Yeah, okay. So we just need to fill this with white. The reason being is because the title screen was kind of inverted. So no HUD equals hardcore mode, yeah. I'm working on Showdown Mega Seats. I've got everything except screen wipes working, so playing with tile sprites. Yes, tile sprites are really good, actually. Tile sprites would have been perfect for the pick and mix. The pick and mix kind of fade off thing, because what it does is it allows you to just repeat the same tile data all the way across the screen. So you set an X position, and you get blank across the screen up to that point, and then you get the tile repeating. So it's perfect for that kind of screen watch. It wouldn't work on because you can't stop it on the right hand side. So maybe it wouldn't have been perfect, but yeah, not bad. Good tile, loving the setup you've got now. Coming on, super nice. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this game room now. I can pretty much play anything I want in here now, mostly on original hardware. I do want to get the full set of Nintendo consoles as well. So I need a SNES and I need a Wii U and an N64 because I've not got my N64 anymore. And then I'm going to put them all under the TV as well. So under the TV there'll be a full set of Sony's and a full set of Nintendos. Should be pretty neat. Okay, all right. So it looks like we need to do the HUD stuff first. Then when I've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to work on this this dome thing. So if you remember in the old character set, we trimmed that down so you could get past. See, I can't get past it there. I get stuck. And what we did is we just took one row of characters out of here. I think it was the second, the one after this kind of highlight here. We took that out and just shifted everything back one. And it lost none of the kind of detail. It looked exactly the same, but it was now passed properly. Oh, there was a character missing there. What was that about? That might have been a weird exhaust thing. Okay, we need to keep an eye out for stuff like that because it will occasionally do weird things like that. That's fine. Okay. So just trying to keep up with chat as well. It's weird. I've got so many screens going on now. It's kind of crazy. I need to turn this microphone crap off so that Alt H works properly in things. I mean, because I don't want that every time I press it. I just want to be able to get this screen up. That's one for later. I've not needed it so far, so okay. So let's have a look at HUD. So basically, when the HUD is first drawn, so when there's an initialization of the HUD, this one here, we just need to add some white in as well. So it's loading HUD data, storing it here. We may as well just this in and store that out. Color RAM. Please tell me there is a color RAM. Doesn't look like there is, but I feel like there should be. Let's see what happens. If not, I'll create one. It's easy enough. No. Okay, where's it getting screen RAM from then? Because that was screen RAM. So it must be outside of all of this. This is why I want to work on this one game at a time, because it is much easier to remember how things are if I'm not jumping between different contexts all the time. This way, I'm focused on one thing at a time. It means I can also get the game done quicker as well. This game's been going on for quite a while now, so. Right, so we should have a HUD now. Yeah, which we do. Awesome. Okay, so next thing to do is to mess around with this a little bit here. So we need to open up the file. The one thing we did do as well is we tidied up all of the kind of reference. Oh, where's Charpad gone? Why is it there? We tidied up a lot of the references. So we should have a much neater. Let me find it first. Hang on. My cat is pacing around. What do you want? What's up with you? Come here. Come say hello. So this is the cat you don't see very often. Say hello. It's because he doesn't like being picked up, do you? You really don't want to be here, do you? All right. Say hello. Say hello to everybody. Stop being a fussy bugger. Say hello. No. Okay. He's not a big social cat. He likes to be stroked, but it's on his own terms. Doesn't care about anything else. Certainly doesn't want to be picked up, and he will scratch you if you pick him up. It's nice to see. You don't not very often show yourself on camera, do you? He's pacing around after something. He's not long had something to eat as well. No, he doesn't like touchy at all. Steps. He hates it. Hates being picked up. If he's tired, you can kind of pick him up and cradle him a little bit, but he gets bored after about 10 seconds. He likes to be stroked on his own. His name is Troy, and he's currently just sat down here next to a pair of trainers. Just, yeah, he's a weird one, aren't you? You strange one. Okay, so we did arrange things much better now. So now what we have is a set of characters. So Andy, Thalamus, we did some rearranging of the map, basically just to bring all the screens together because there was a gap between each screen. So we brought them all together. There is one error in here, and I've got to remember where the hell it was now. Oh god, where was? Oh, it's here. Here we go. So you can see here if I turn the flexi grid on and set the flexi grid settings to grid width 4024. There we go. So you can see actually there's two. There's one here and there's one here as well where they don't quite line up. So you can see the I can't drag it with thing. There we go. You can see here if the character was here and moves this way, it's going to get stuck in the wall. So this either needs to come down or this needs to go up. And similarly here as well, I think this just needs to go back by one or something like that. Let me share this. Let me make the changes I need to make to these domes, not these domes. Sorry, to the domes tonight, and then at the end of the night, I'll share what I have with you. So that we're working from the same file, because I don't want to. It was quite a lot of work to go through and get this kind of back into this format again. So it'd be good just to make sure we work on the same file. Should put a GoPro on his head and add a cat. I've got a GoPro as well. Don't give me ideas, Nicomo. Don't give me ideas. Hey, Microman. Oh my god, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Cat cam would be awesome. It would be. Thing is, Troy would not accept that being on his head at all. He would fight that off. However, Floor would probably just put up with it. Floor is very submissive. She doesn't care at all. She's whatever. She's fine with it. So I could probably do it Floor, but I mean, she's just up there asleep. So, you probably can't even see her, but she's up there asleep on the top. Yeah, Evie would not enjoy it at all. She's called Evie now, by the way. How do you store that massive map, compressed in memory, or load a couple of screens? Sorry, I'm just curious. Actually, this is it's not even done in tiles. This is just individual. So this is stored on the cartridge. So the character set is stored on the cartridge, and so is the map. And it's all stored as characters, and then what it does is it works out which section of the map it needs to load. So every screen is a fresh load from the cartridge. So it is a little bit different to most games, but it's because of the way we do the scroll and because we have 440 unique characters. So there is a little bit of work we need to do to get the thing to work. Because without that, we'd be limited to 256, which means we'd have to sacrifice some of the characters. We'd have to reduce the character set down. This way, we can just load in the characters we need on the fly. So it is a little bit different. It is slightly different to what we'd normally do. Normally, we would use a tile system where each block of 4 or 9, 2x2, 3x3, or a 4x4 block would be represented by 1 byte in memory, and then there'd be a definition somewhere. But yes, Andy. Everything else is fine. The only thing I had to do was bring everything together because there were gaps between the levels. So what I'll do is, like I say, when I've made the changes to these domes, which I'll do now, I will save out that. I'll test the file, make sure it works, save it out, and send it to you, so you can make those changes. Because I don't think there's anything else. Everything works fine. These are working fine. I think these are working fine as well. I think everything was working all right. That we have so far. Yeah, it's literally just I just need to do these. Game development is so different from demo code. Yes, indeed, they're two very different disciplines, and two disciplines. I think there is a bit of overlap, but they are so very, very different that sometimes I think demo coders don't understand how difficult games are, and I don't think some game developers don't understand how difficult demos are. You can do simple demos and you can do simple games, but to do the real good stuff, it can be difficult. You can do a lot of tricky stuff in both fields. So, thanks for the sub, Cakepocalypse. Appreciate it as ever. Main thing was the large mines plus moving a few force fields. Yes, the force fields. In fact, that's going to be one of the next things I do. Actually, get the force fields working because we don't have them working yet. So, anyway, let's crack on with this editing. So, basically, what we need to do is every one of these we need to take and shrink it down. So, I'm gonna do it color coding it one at a time so I can see them. So, we're going to do the cyan ones first. So, these are the ones that point down from the top. And that does account for all of the ones pointing down from the top by the looks of things. You can see these ones here. And all we need to do is we need to take out one row of characters here. So the way I was doing this was just to take that row out there and then move this piece here into this. So we're basically getting rid of this. And then what I do is I'm just going to draw a big X through this. So you can see where this is then on the map, so we can tell if there's one in the wrong place. We'll see this, and we know that we need to remove that. So in this case, we go in and we clear it like that, so we know we've moved it. So same on this one. We just take out this row here and move everything else up one. Like so. There we go. And once we know we've got all of these crosses off the map, then we can remove them from the character set, recompress, and you can see it all over the place up here now. So actually what we could do is if we just blank them out, we just check that they're in all the places they should be. When we recompress it, we'll get rid of them anyway. So let's just make sure that all the domes that are using them have those blobs underneath. So there's one there. I think that's it. I don't think it would be crazy if there were any more. Well, if we're calling them all in cyan and we see any that aren't cyan, then we know we're right. So I'm just going to blank these out completely. And then that means when we do the compression, they'll all be compressed into that one space up there. The other thing we need to make sure as well is that the order doesn't change in here, other than removing characters, removing duplicate characters, which is what these will do. But these first 10 characters need to stay the same because they're shared between the different screens as well. So although every screen loads in its own character set and on the fly, there's about 10 or 11 characters which are the same between every screen in terms of map data. There's also another 24 characters at the end of the character set which are used for particles and things, which are the same between screens. But so that's that one. Let's do the upwards one now. So we've got oh, now interestingly, that one looks like it's floating more. Okay, so we're going to have to move that down. Let's just go and have a look at the position. I think we did this last time, and it was all right. It didn't look too bad. It's because of the way that the font set works. So you can see there's a line of pixels, then a blank set of lines, and then actually no, it would still be fine here. I thought there was like a single line there, but it's actually okay. Wait, is that even the same one? Oh yeah, no, that's fine. All right, yeah, okay. So we'll start by shifting this down, I guess. So we shift it down. Oh no, that's the map. Don't want the map. I want this. Shift this down and shift this down. And let's make these cyan again so we can see where we're working. And you can see that we've now the top is kind of taken out of our place a little bit. So what we're going to do, we're going to come in here again. We're going to move everything down by 2 like that. Actually, what did I just do there? There we go. Like that, yeah. And then that's the top. There we go. So take that one out. There we go. Right, and then we can just move these ones here. Cool, that still looks good. All right, so now we've got the side ones. So let's go and find where the side ones are being used. I think they're some down here somewhere. Remember rightly. Yeah, here we go. Perfect position. So we'll do these 2 now. So again, this is same sort of thing. Actually, it looks like the characters for these are spread out a little bit. Looks like one. Is it just the one? There must be another piece for this. I don't know where this piece is. Can I select it on here? Oh, it's right after it there. It's me being blind. All right. So make these cyan again. Okay, so again, we're going to take this row out here, move everything across. This row here. You might as well mirror the downward one. That's a good point, actually. Why didn't I just... that would have been a lot quicker, wouldn't it? That would have been a hell of a lot quicker. Oh, what's that one there? That's from something. What is that from? I'll have to look for... Looks like there's another piece here that we might need to discover its location. Like, where is that being used? Let's make that... It's the way to find out where things are being used. It'd be good if it would highlight, if there was like a highlight uses. That weird ball holder. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Maybe it is. Let's go and check that out. That would be a nice feature, though, wouldn't it? To have. Oh, yeah. Yes, it is. You're right. It is that. Yeah, because we've got one piece. Yeah, it is. It is that. And there's another. Oh, look at that. There's 1 pixel there as well. That's annoying. It's kind of all right because it's in the corner, so it's not like, I mean, the block would basically be so it would be the equivalent of like these characters being blocked, well, except these two here, which is fine. I mean, I'm not too fussed about that. Oh god, if AAA 3D games nowadays can just are you short on Charles? Oh, no, I'm not short on Charles at all. We're down to 440 with compression. This is probably going to go down to 432, which means we're 80. We've got 80 characters left to do what we want with, that we can add to the map, just the map. Some of that will be loaded in dynamically, so we do have some stuff loaded in dynamically. So you'll notice doors are not in here. And that's because doors are loaded in a separate file. They're loaded in inline in the code. So the only thing I wish both had was the ability to select a group. Yes, group of pixels and paste them to it. Yeah, definitely. The only reason I didn't shrink the little domes is because I hoped you'd change your mind. The thing is, I did look at trying to do it the other way, which is to have an exception for that particular character. The problem with that, though, is it then adds in extra collision checks for particles, for bullets, for player. There was a few things it added in, so it was quite a lot. So fans and animations will be loaded in line as well. So basically, if a screen has an animation in, it will load a little piece of dynamic code up into the upper area of memory, and that piece of dynamic code will automatically inline include the animations for it, and then you'll just initialize it with there's a fan at this location, and it will create a fan at that location. It's quite a nice system we've got set up, actually. The ability to basically rearrange almost all the code, or all the kind of significant code in memory per screen. So if you were to take a snapshot of the game, you wouldn't be able to. The moment you move to the next screen, you'd need to load from cart again. So like the old action replay thing, where you would pause the game, take a snapshot, load it from tape, and you could just play the game up until whenever the next multi-load was, would not work with this at all. Because there's so much that has to be loaded. The code is completely reshuffled basically every screen. So it's one of the advantages of working with cartridge. We don't have to worry about space that much for code. We can juggle things around quite a bit. Okay, so I think that's it in terms of the domes. So let me save that map out. There is, I've noticed this, and it's doing it now. There is, on large maps, there is a significant delay now. When you go to save. So I have pressed save. I don't know if it's a Windows 11 thing, or if it's just this version, but it wasn't happening on previous versions. This is 3.10, so it's just before Christmas. I learned that Sonic needs an REU. What do you think about that? I mean, I think it's cool that the REU is getting use. However, I personally, I don't think Last Ninja there was the correct now. Oh, God damn it. All right, let me make it of that. I hope it's not something that becomes the norm, because it kind of takes away from the magic of the C64, the fact that you can do all this kind of crazy extra stuff. It's like, I get that Sonic benefited from it, but honestly, I still think Sonic could have been done without it. Maybe not. Maybe not as full screen as it was. It might have had to sacrifice a bit of the screen size. But yeah, I don't know. For me, it's I don't mind the REU being used when you have a game which has been written primarily in PAL and it struggles in NTSC. Then I think that's fine. Using an REU to get around that is kind of all right, which I think is what Sam's Journey did. But I think when you start, allowing the REU, then you get into all sorts of weird things where, okay, you can't just buy you can't just buy, £100 on eBay, a Commodore 64, buy a game from, Thalamus or Bitmap Soft or whatever, plug it in and run the game. You need an additional piece of software, and that's where I think it becomes an additional piece of hardware. I think that's where it becomes a problem. Requiring additional hardware beyond what you get with a base Commodore 64 and what you can buy in a game is kind of crazy. Now, if somebody comes up with a cartridge format that has an REU built into it, then it's different. I think if you can come up with a cartridge format that has a 60 meg REU built into it, then fine. But try and get that to a cost that makes it, like you want to buy it. Because the thing is like the SNES had something similar with the Mode 7 Super FX chip and all that crap. But the thing is it didn't significantly increase the price of the cartridges, right? The cartridges remained the same price. Obviously the margins were probably less on them. But if you took what's 30 quid, 30, 40 pounds for I mean, minimum 25, but you're looking at around about 40 pounds for a cartridge, for a well-produced, good game cartridge, in a nice box and everything. If that cartridge suddenly became £120 because it had an REU built into it, no one would want it. It would be crazy. So I think it would be good if they could find a way to cheaply add one into the cartridge, but until then, I think it's a bit of a niche thing. That it's cool because Sonic is one of those things, right? It's a classic game. It's well known. Nobody would have ever thought it would have come to the C64. So to see it on the C64 is great. The fact it needed an REU is kind of irrelevant because it's not being sold. It was a technical challenge that they overcame and did a really good job with. I think that's fine, but what I'm scared of is seeing people release games that require all these kind of add-ons and stuff. So, yeah, they're less like a C64, it seems, exactly. You may as well just be writing for a different machine at that point. If I want more power, that's what the Mega 65 is for. Okay, let's give this a quick try. Can I test it anywhere? I guess I can test it in this room, can't I? Still struggling to save, damn it. Need to figure out what it is. It's probably some hi-fi challenge, yeah. Yeah, most people play on emulation. Then, yeah, to be fair, that is one of the advantages of using emulation. But there are people out there that want to play it on original hardware. Now, if you've got an Ultimate 64, you could play it because it has an REU built in. So, but if you want to play it on your actual C64, and some people will want to play it, then you're not going to be able to do it, unfortunately. And as Thalamus says, it becomes less like a C64. Why spend the time writing something for the C64 when what you're doing is writing something for a more powerful machine? Why not just use a more powerful machine? Why not write something for the Mega 65 now if you wanted to do something more modern, or write something for the C128, make use of the higher clock speed there, or use a different system altogether. Use use a SNES or something like that. But Yeah, SP as SVP says, use the which is the Super Mario did that as well. So Super Mario again is another really good example of a port done well, and it had lots of cool stuff in it as well. Like if you play it on the C128, it overcame some of the glitchiness by utilizing 2 megahertz in the border, and it also had like dual SID support. Was it dual SID or was it dual button support? I might have had both actually. I can't remember, but anyway, the point is personally, I don't think I'd be using the REU. It just doesn't interest me at all. Dual SID and dual button. Okay, so I seem to remember it had one or both. Shit, I need to shoot that to get through there, don't I? But okay, so I just want to check against these up here. Interesting. Why is that not? Okay, so it's still not quite right for some reason. Let's have a look why. Okay, so first of all, we need to compress the character set again. So it should go down to 432. We just want to remove duplicate. Don't want to sort the characters. Everything should stay the same. Why have we got a blank one there? And a blank one here. And a blank one here. Why is it not? Should be removing duplicates. Remove duplicate characters. Okay, was there any difference between those and this? Oh, not that one. This one. Ah, it's a color difference. All right. So let me set these back to white, and then it should compress properly then. Thank you very much for the resub, Warlock. Appreciate it as ever. How you doing anyway? I think I missed you last time, or you were late last time because of the early start. But hopefully you're okay. Hopefully everything's great down there in Australia. In Australia. Oh, I got a terrible accent. Right, there we go. That's sorted. So the reason the collision was not working, see, it's just so slow. The reason the collision was not working is because it hadn't removed those characters. So when it does the duplicate character check, it's also checking the foreground color as well. So if the foreground color is different, then it doesn't see it as a duplicate, and it leaves it in the character set. The only thing I didn't actually check for was whether or not those characters were being used. Well, no, I didn't. I didn't check if they were being used anywhere else. I should have cleared them from the screen. Never mind. I think we checked last time and they weren't, because that's why I had all those squares over the top. So what I should have done was manually deleted them from the map and then done a compressed, and it would have removed them if they were being reused. But I don't think they were, because we would have seen the cyan color in other places, or yellow, I think it was originally. So we're fine. Yeah, 432. Yeah, I seem to remember they weren't as well. So I definitely remember having those squares everywhere and then not seeing them anywhere other than on a dome. So that's fine. All right. Okay. So map is now saved. So now if I run this, let's make sure everything's good. Should be able to get onto that screen, and this time we should be able to move past quite close to that dome. Let's avoid the laser, because I do believe I've got a collision on. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so this brings us to this screen. So this is our. Oh no, I wanted to go and check the Robotron screen. If I remember rightly, there was something weird on that screen. I can't remember what it was. Let's go and just check it out. It's a speed up, wasn't it? I thought it was going to be a double weapon, but it wasn't. Ah, that's right. This character. Okay. Okay, that's fine. So on the Robotron screen, so let's do two things. First of all, let's set where we start, which I believe is in this one. I thought it was that one. Spawn player. No, where is it? No, it's not that. It's game loop. Yeah, here we go. So we start on screen 10 is the original start. 11 is the screen at the top. So we actually want screen 21, which is one below. So 10 screens across. Oh, that's a good point. Are they? Maybe they're supposed to be. I don't think they're supposed to be shrapnel mines. I need to check that out. Actually, I don't think they're supposed to give off. They're just supposed to be proximity mines. They're not supposed to be shrapnel mines. Yeah, it's a good point. We'll check that out in a minute. I probably got the characters wrong in the list. It's fine. It's easy enough to change. Actually, it will be because we've just estimated. So we just moved everything 8 characters along. So I need to redo those positions. Okay, but we'll do that in a second because what I'm going to do is also grab the Robotron screen. So this is the Robotron and the Robotron characters. There's the warning. There's a warning sign, which is just the binary somewhere, isn't it? I can't remember where that is now. Is it in here? Or was it down somewhere? Just looking for binary. Oh. Okay, let's just search for warning. Okay, no. Robotrons. Let's have a look. So when this screen starts. Oh, has this happened before? Okay, let's have a look at the screen code. It's probably the easiest way. Maps. Screen 21 dynamic init. Let's register entities. Wait, that's not 21 then, is it? That's. Where's the Robotron? Ah, there we go. Screen 20. Oh, of course, 20, not 21. All right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, actually. That's fine. How's the new place? It's really good. I'm very, very happy here. I've just finished most of my workshop. Yesterday. I did need to move a few boxes in there, but basically I've got it just through there. I got a workshop set so I can build and do my water cooling stuff, do my electronic soldering and stuff. That's all nice workbench in there, and all my 3D printers are in there as well. Then this room is just one massive kind of gaming room, basically. It's pretty good. Now I just need to work on the other rooms, but yeah, it's looking good. Hey, Hayes. It feels really nice. I feel very comfortable. Streaming from a couch is nice as well. Not having to stream sat at a desk. The setup I've got is I have a coffee table which has a kind of raised section which I can pull up, and once I pull it up, it's got my mic and camera and stuff, and it's very comfortable. Yeah. Screw the other room sounds like yeah. I really do have the essentials. It's really, really nicely set up. Like I said, I've managed to get most of the consoles in this one room. Like I say, I'll have all the Sony and all the Nintendo consoles directly under the TV, and then on the side I'll have Sega and Atari. So like the Mega Drive, the Jaguar, the VCS, the Dreamcast, things like that on the side. Still broken. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. I have no idea what's actually happening with it. Something is obviously broken on Streamlabs. I'm not sure what it is. I will check afterwards. They turned CloudBot off, so it's going to be something to do with that. But yeah, Hayes is another Commodore streamer. If you don't know Hayes, go check him out. Click on his name, give him a follow, give him a sub. Streams a lot of Commodore stuff, mainly Commodore 64. Does do a bit of Amiga now and again as well, and has been known to dabble in some Star Wars kind of flight sim style games like X-Wing Fighter or whatever it's called. I was never a big fan of those games, unfortunately. So I quite liked watching them, but I never could really play them very well. So. Oh, and I put my you probably can't see, but I put my handheld, some of my handhelds anyway, on the shelf up here. So I got my Game Boy Color and my Game Boy Advance and my Dot Cosmos case as well, because it's Dot Cosmos here. And then I got my 2 PlayStations, PSP and the Vita, and I've got the Switch Lite up there and the Pocket Go. And then over there, I've got the DS and the Nomad and things like that. So I need to find another space for those things. Although I think the Nomad's probably going to live on the Sega shelf anyway. Okay, so let's have a look. We need to know which character to use. Do we have a character set up for this already? No. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a constant here. And I'm going to call this warning char. And I'm going to set this to a value so that we can use that value, because at the moment I don't think we have. I think it's probably just done hard coded in there. So that's the warning colors. So we're looking for the screen pulse. It's going to be here somewhere, right? That's the flashing of it. This is the initialization. Screen pause. Screen pause. Screen target. Is it that one? No, that's the bike camera. Grab bits one at a time. Blah blah blah. I believe it's this one here. Okay, so at the moment that's flashing 03, which is 1, 2, 3, which is indeed that one. What it should be grabbing is this one here, which is 08. So if we set it to 08, we should be able to see it, and then we'll fix those mines as well. So I think what the mines is because the character set's been compressed and it's different to what it was before. It identifies what the entities are based on the top left character. So at the moment, it thinks those mines are actually shrapnel mines, and they're not. So we just need to go and fix that. But hopefully this flashes warning now, which it does. That's great. Let's just make sure this screen works properly. Ah, shit. Seems to work fine, though. This is pretty good. Really hard to play on keys, actually. Sweet. All right, cool. Okay, so let's take a look at these mines then. So the way these work is in the entity manager, there is a few different methods which get called based on what these things are. But what they are is passed in the persistence data. So you see here there is an update mine function, and then this works out whether it should be doing 4-way spikes or just a simple explosion, 6-way spikes, and so on. Now that comes from the script that we run, which is the charpad parser here, and that has a few entities. So we have mine, 6-spike mine, 4-spike mine, and these just have entity numbers which are stored in the map data and allow us to kind of generate this persistence data here. So the first thing we need to do is we just need to go and check that screen's persistence data, because it will be marked with comments to say what each thing is. This is on screen 21. We want the persistence data though. So this is auto-generated by this script. And you can see it says spike, 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 spike. There is a couple of 4-spike mines, So there's no mines, just 4 spike mines. So the reason it's doing that is because in here, it's finding character 251. And if we go and have a look at character 251 in here, let's make this a little bit bigger. It says that's 251 here. So it is finding the right character. Oh wait, yeah. So yeah, 251. So it's finding the normal mines. You can see it's the normal no spike mine. So if we just go into that screen where it's come from, which is here, you see these pink mines here. You can see it's built up of these characters here. You can see it's here. So this is 251 is the top left corner. Now everything is based on the top left corner. So if we have a look in here, we can see that 251 says it's a 4 spike mine. Well, it's not. It's actually a normal mine. And you see how originally it was 259 and now it's 251. That's because we deleted 8 characters from the character set. So now it's shifted along by 1. So we just need to make sure all of these are correct again, which they won't be. So let's find the barrel. So the barrel is here. So the top corner of the barrel. So if you click on an item in the map, you can see in the bottom corner down here what it is. It's probably very difficult to read on the screen right now, but probably can't see it at all actually because I think my screen's a bit shorter than that. Let me just move it up. There you go. You can see there char 41 it says in the bottom corner. So we're just going to check that that's the same on the thing, which it is. 41 spike 9. Okay, so well that is going to be the same because that's there, that's not moved. So everything that was before these domes should be fine, but we'll just double check everything anyway while we're here. So bonus pod 72, and if we hover over that, it is indeed 72. Char mine we've just sorted out. So 4 spike mine, right? So these are these things here. And that is now char 243. So you can see that is 8 characters knocked off this. So I would expect this one to be 224, which is the 6 spike mine. We can go over to the one up here, which is indeed 224. So that should sort that out now. So what this script is doing, why is it not loading? Don't give me this now. I think Windows 11 is having some issues on my machine. Let's close that. It's been fine for games. I've not had any issues at all with games. If anything, it's been an improvement. Okay, so that was 243, and this should be 224. Okay. So what this script does is this is what reads in the charpad file. So we don't actually export this file at all. We just create this file as we need it, and then this is passed by this I can't save again, damn it. This is passed by this JavaScript file, which is being slow because that's failing to load, so just let that go first. But what the JavaScript file does is it goes through each screen, it pulls out all the characters that make up that screen, so that we know when we load between screens which characters to load in. It also works out where all these things are, so it uses these to find these objects on the screen. It then generates additional information in the map data to say that there are certain entities in these positions, and then it also uses that to generate these persistence data pieces of code. So these are just it's just a block of bytes basically, which is used by the game. This is loaded in once at the beginning of the game, and then from that point on, it's not loaded from the cartridge again until you start a fresh game. And the reason for this is because it's persistence data. So this makes sure that if you blow a mine up on a screen, move off the screen and go back, that mine has gone. If you shoot a bonus pod 8 times, it needs 10 to kill it. You go off the screen and come back, you only need to shoot it twice more to kill it. So it remembers the data between the screens, makes sure that things persist between screens. So this is one of the only things that's actually stored in memory all the time, and isn't loaded from the cartridge on the fly. And that's automatically generated from the JavaScript file. So because you create a save function based on that What you mean in? Could you create? Save the persistence data. Possibly. The problem is the Easy Flash, and actually I think Gmod as well has quite limited cartridge space as well. For save data, I think it's only like 2 kilobytes or something. So possibly, I couldn't imagine it being more than 2 kilobytes all that data. But yeah, I mean that's the sort of thing that you could use. Certainly for a disk, you could save that onto a disk, no problem. Yeah, I thought it wasn't a lot. So it's probably just a little bit too much because the persistence data contains everything. So every single item on that can be destroyed has a persistence data entry. So if you look down here, you've got all these barrels, all these spikes. All of these have got 4 bytes of data or 5 bytes of data. I'll tell you how many it is actually. 4 bytes of data, and then each screen has at least an FF at the end. So each screen is at least 1 byte, and then each item has 4 bytes. And those bytes are the X position and Y position, which I guess could be combined somehow. Maybe could probably roll these 3 bytes into 2, or maybe the whole thing into 2. But basically, you have your X position, your Y position, your type. So this is kind of what the object is, and then the hit points as well. So you can see these bonus points. Bonus pods take 3 shots. They should be more than that actually. I don't know why they only take 3. Barrels only take 1. Why is that 3? It should be more than 3. Oh no, this is the hit points. Sorry, the second column is the hit points. This is the type. That's why. Thank you for the sub, Dead Beef 6809. 6809. There's a CPU I want to play with at some point. Thank you very much for the sub. Caught a live stream. Well, welcome along. Hope you're doing well. Listen does work, yes. Yeah, this data could probably be compressed down. I mean, certainly these two at the very least could be combined together, which is the hit points and the types. They could use a nibble each, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's anything going to be more than 16 hits to kill in terms of entities anyway. And then it's just a matter of combining these. But I guess if you just kind of squash all the bits together, you can probably reduce this down quite a bit. So, but I mean, for now, it's fine. I'm not too fussed about it. If it's something I need to do later on, then I can do it. But for now, it's absolutely fine. Okay, let's close some of these down. Okay, right, let's give this a quick test then. I think I had it loaded up. Yeah. So hopefully now these should just be normal explosions and we should get a... Yeah, there we go. And we should get the proper explosions from things. So these should drop stars, those should drop hundreds, which they do. Let's try and go and find one of those. And I believe the spike mines don't fire spikes out if you explode them first. So if you just shoot them, I believe they don't fire them out. I might be wrong. I might have to double check that. Oh, damn it. In which case, we just need to make a small change. I am correct. Okay, cool. The game actually builds really great. Yeah, it is working really, really well. I'm actually... The way this all works is actually a very, very nice system, and it's something I would gladly make more games using as well. It does tie you kind of directly to cart a little bit, but it's incredibly powerful so far. The ability to kind of to just load in things on the fly all the time is very, very good. So Okay, so let's work on this screen now. So this has got a force field going through it. So this again is going to be something we load in dynamically. I think I don't see any reason not to load this in dynamically. So we just need to work out where this sits in memory. So the way the dynamic code works, and we should probably start mapping dynamic stuff down here as well. So let's create a list of dynamic code locations. So when dynamic code loads in, it's going to load in at one of two locations or two areas of memory. So you can see here we've got this area here and this area here. So the second area is a little bit unique in that it can load. It's in a VIC bank, so you can actually load stuff into the VIC bank as you go, which is really useful for anything that has a visual element to it, which the force field does. So we will be loading the force field into there. There's a smaller dynamic screen code area here, A00 to A7FF. Just 2 kilobytes of room that we can kind of play around with, and we can add code into. So the dynamic code all has its own folder, and it has its own asset thing. And so far we've got 5 things in here. So we've got force field. So I'll put a location in for that at the moment, which is E800, and doesn't have anything in it, which is obviously because this is the one we need to work on now. So we don't know what that's going to move to at the moment. So let's just put that like that. Okay. Now the trick is if we load in these things, we can't load them in to dynamic locations. The locations need to be static, and the reason they need to be static is because we pull labels out for these things. So we can't, if we load something into E800, and say the force field, right? Say one screen loads in the force field to E800. When we do a jump to subroutine force field.init, the assembler will look through the code and it will say, okay, this code is going to be loaded in at E800, which means if we want to then decide to load this code in again for another screen, but in a slightly different location, and we do force field init, whichever one gets assembled first is going to be the address. You can't have 2 addresses for the same label. So we need to either come up with a completely different system, which I'm not willing to do, or we just need to make sure that these locations that these load in never overlap. So while we can have some things which do overlap, so for instance, the Robo Prize, the Robotron screen, they all load in at E800 as well. So, but the reason why this is okay is because these things never load at the same time. So the Robotron main screen is the screen that makes all the things spawn and appear on the screen. But once you've killed all of them, you get the Robotron prize. So the code that was originally controlling the Robotron characters on the screen can be unloaded, and the new Robotron prize can be loaded in instead. And because those 2 pieces of code never need to exist in memory at the same time, they can occupy the same location. And the labels will still point to E800, but you can have Robotron, 2 completely different pieces of code that you load in. So you play your Robotron main screen. When that's finished, you destroy that code, you tear it down, and you load in the next module, which is the Robotron prize screen, which is here. I don't think we need to put upper locations in for these, because these 2 never going to run at the same time. Likewise, you're never going to have a force field and the Robotrons on the same screen at the same time. And if we do, then we just need to move the force field around. So this is where we'll end up kind of shuffling a lot of things around, I think. But for now, we're just going to put all the ones we've got in and see where they are. So the laser is at E800 as well. So we really are using all the code up there quite a lot. Let's just get rid of that one down there. But we do have the swarm, and the swarm is at F00. So you can see now, force field has to finish at E7FF. And the reason it has to finish at E7FF is because we've got this, which runs at the same time, which is swarm. So I think what I'm going to do to identify these things is if they can run together, I'm going to give them kind of group values here, I think. So what I think I'll do is I'll just put it kind of here. So we'll call this group A, because that's the only one at the moment that needs to run together. So anytime something needs to run together, I'll give it a group name, group value here, and then we can see exactly what we need to do, and we'll keep them kind of separate, I guess, like that. So let's move these down. Cool. Group by screen number. Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. Hey, Doxter, welcome along. Yeah, all right, that's not a bad idea. Let's do that. Question is, what screen number is it? This is screen number. Oh, that's slow to scroll up. Okay, so it's 10, that's 11. Just makes this 12. It may be used somewhere else as well, but let's just do it by screen number first. We might find that it's used in other places as well, but we know that because these two exist in the same place, we need to make sure that these areas never overlap, and that's not E7FF, that should be EFFF, like that. So basically that just gives us a section of memory. It gives us 2 kilobytes in order to handle the collision of these things on the screen. So, hey Jason, how's it going? Are you doing well? All right, let's take a quick look then at the force field code. So what do we need to do with the force field? Well, the force field is actually going to be quite simple. Again, because we're loading this into... Let me close a lot of this down, actually. And let me change the... Actually, let's just close everything down except the main file. Let's change the starting screen to 0. See, let's just start on that screen. Doesn't really matter, I guess. Okay. And let's go and have a look at the screen code. So the screen code loads in force field. So it does load in the dynamic screen and then calls the dynamic initialization, which calls force field init. So we have got it all set up to use this. And there's force field code. Where's it gone? There it is. Right. So because the code is actually in a VIC bank, that means we can actually use the inline kind of byte kind of stuff here to actually create the characters for this. So we'll call this field chars. Keys, I can't type. Field chars. And then we're just going to put the data in here. Now, what I'm going to do, the sound is pretty good today. This will remove all the crap tunes from HSVC. I don't know if anybody's selecting it. It's on the... so I do have a playlist of about 200 good songs, which is... which plays if no one picks a tune. So if no one picks anything, it just plays stuff from that playlist. So thank you. I think you're complimenting my taste there. So what we're going to do, we're going to create basically a single character. So a single character is just going to be random noise. Actually, it's not quite. It needs to be 2 characters. And the reason it needs to be 2 characters is because the actual force field itself... Oh, actually, this is going to be fun. So if we... I knew someone would have to change that and pick some shitty tune. That's Nicomo. I like Isengard anyway, I don't care. I'll have to go to the toilet in a minute. Yes, so the force field basically is going to sit straddling these 2 characters here. So it's going to be in the middle here. It's going to be 8 pixels wide, but I think the collision, we're just going to have to accept that the collision is going to have to be the full 16. Otherwise, we get into all sorts of weird stuff. So it's another slight compromise that we have to make in that the collision will be 4 pixels off. But it's a minor one to allow us to do this. The only time it might start getting a bit weird is when you've got stuff like this, because you're going to get blocked here and blocked here, but you have still got enough room to fit in the middle. So that's fine as well, I think. So as long as you've got enough room to maneuver in the middle, as long as there's at least 2 squares between each dome, then you'll be fine, which there does seem to be. So, well, I'm sure we'll find out when we try and play through it, and we can't. But so what the force field does is it's basically a noise pattern. So what we're going to do, we're going to create 2 characters, so 16 bytes in memory that contain basically noise. So it's going to be like 4 bytes like this, and then it's going to be some character like that, right? Now, actually, we can do this with random numbers. Yeah, let's do it like that, actually. So let's do... let's do it in 2 sections. Let's do... okay, so we need to do 2 loops. The first loop is going to be numbers from 0 to 15, excluding 0. So this would need to be... the reason we need to exclude 0 is because we don't want any blank lines in there. We want at least 1 pixel in there. And this is just going to be the left-hand side of this. And then we do the same for the right-hand side. And again, we can do this, but instead of adding 1, we're going to add 241 instead. And that will give us a value from, 200... Yeah, 241, because the biggest number here would be 14,255. Yeah, okay. Oh, no, not plus 241. It would be shifted by 4. That's right. There we go. And what that's going to do is it's going to give us a value from 0 to 15, but then stick 4 more zeros on the end, so basically shifted across. When you better just have a max number of pixels in a row so it's not blocky. Yeah, I mean, what I will do, and this is kind of temporary, what I will do is I will pick the values that fit perfectly in here, rather than have it random every time we build it. We want some values that work. For now, I'm fine to just put it in like this, so we've got something that works, that I don't have to think about too much. But yeah, we'll come up with some nice value. In fact, what I'll probably do is I'll just take the ones from the game, take a snippet of the ones from the game, put them into here. So what we need to do is we need to move this character into the character set. So we've got this copy char function. I'm going to take a quick break though. I need to go and get another drink, and I need to go to the toilet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave you with the quiz and stuff. Let's see if I can do this properly from here. I should hopefully be able to. And the random function be seeded. I don't think it can in Kick. That's a good point. I've never actually looked. That would be really nice if we can find a seed that works well. That would be a very, very nice way of doing it. Yeah. All right. Anyway, I'll be back in a few minutes, guys. I'll be as quick as I can, and then we'll continue with this. So I'll be right back, guys. All right, I'm back. What is that? It's very hard to see that from here. PlayStation, though. Nobody ever gets the PlayStation ones. Very difficult to see from here, though. Okay. So one of the last things we did at the end of last year was add in a copy character function. So we used it in the doors. We used it in a few other places as well. I can't remember exactly everything that we used it in, but we definitely used it in the doors. And we're going to need that function now. So we just need to go and find where that is. So we've got this. Here we go. Copy chars. And I believe that's going to be a macro. So let's just go and check out the macro, make sure that that is actually... there it is. Copy chars. Okay, yeah, so it does... It is it's quite a big macro as well. So it's probably worth trying to turn this into a function somehow, but I'm sure we talked about this last time. And there's so many places like this, it wouldn't be that simple to do. Oh, actually, no, it's probably not that bad. So basically, once we've got past these values, so my bloody screen's gone into my screen's got like a OLED saving mode where it kind of dims everything to a point where I can barely read it anymore. So let's have a look. We've got char fetch, number chars, copy chart, index, store. So it's actually not that bad. It's not huge, and we've still got some values like this knocking around. I mean, could maybe reduce it down a bit, but then you've got a chunk of piece of code that's always in memory and it's not needed. No, I think we're fine. I think we can use it as it is, as a macro. I think that's the conclusion I came to last time as well. It's not used on enough screens for it to be split, I don't think, into a function that's always available in memory, because it would be sacrificing static memory for reducing the size of the dynamic memory. And the dynamic memory is the thing that we have quite a lot of space for, so it really doesn't matter. Whereas static memory is the one that we do have to be very careful of. So I think it makes sense to do it this way. It seems counterintuitive, but I think it makes sense to leave it as a macro. So let's have a look what we've got. So this is the function that we've got, and I'm assuming it returns a location. Does it return a location? Because we need to know where it's loading to. So we've got the char fetch address, char index store. Char index store. Okay, so this tells us what index is the character. And if we have a look in the doors function, it's probably door char list. So that's being stored up here. Number of door chars. Yeah, see, that should actually be that, like that. Okay, cool. Right, so that means we can copy this into the force field. So basically what we're going to do is we need to copy some characters. We're going to copy them from field characters. We're only ever going to copy 2. That's all we care about. And we'll put the field chart indices here. And this is just going to be 2 bytes that store the index in the font to what these are. Now, we're not too interested in what these indices are, because I mean, obviously we need them to fill the data in, but the one thing we are going to have to get is the address. So we might need another macro if we've not already got it that's going to turn one of these into a character address. I'm assuming we're already doing that in some places, so we'll go and take a look to see if that's already being done, and if so, we can reutilize that somehow, either make it a macro or just kind of sneakily kind of shift code around a little bit to make it a bit more reusable. But basically what we need to do is, also it helps if I spell field correctly. Oh, do you notice the chat is staying there as well now? Apparently you can just set don't fade the chat. I just didn't spot it before. And again, that's something that player.me provides. Oops. Okay, so now we've got the chars being copied into the character set, but that's not enough. Now what we need to do is, once we've copied the characters, let's do copy and we've initialized the force field. Now there could be more than one force field on the screen, so actually copy chars don't really need to jump to another routine for that. It's just a waste of a byte and a few cycles there, so just get rid of that. But what we do need to do is, once we've initialized the force field set, we need to add force field. So to add a force field, we need to basically make this work similar to the way the doors work. We give it a start position. Yes, and do you know what? The funny thing is, Steps, I got that one in 3. I got that one in 3. People were going fucking nuts about it because they couldn't fucking work out what it was. I got it in 3. So, boom. Yeah. I'm interested. So it seems we've got a few people that play it here. I'm interested what everybody's first words are. What's the first word you type? And do you immediately keep guessing from that, or do you do? Well, what I do is I use 2 words. I have 2 words that I put in. So I have my first word, and then I have my second word which I put in, and that gives me usually enough to get it in 3 or 4. I have 3 vowels in my first word. 3 vowels and 2 fairly common consonants as well. So I'll see what everybody types, and then I'll tell you what mine are. So, for instance, today's, I think I got that in 3 as well, because I got 3 of the letters on the first word. Was it 3? Oh, no, it might not have been. It might have been 2 on the first. I can't remember. Okay, so my first word is raise. R-A-I-S-E. Because it has A, I, and E, which are vowels, and it has an R and an S in, which are quite common letters. And then, regardless of what I get in that, unless I get like 4 letters, I'll go for hound as my second word. So Hound. And the reason I go for hound is because it has the other 2 vowels in it as well. It has a H in it, which if you get a H, then there's probably going to be a T or a C or the S that you had before. So you can that that's going to combine with thing. And D is another one which it eliminates a lot. If you get a D, it eliminates a lot of words. So by using raise and hound, I can usually get it on the 3rd or 4th after that with a bit of thinking, unless I'm really unlucky and none of the letters are in it. But yeah, actually today, I got 3 on the first. Raise gave me 3. And hound gave me the 4th. So I just needed 1 more letter on that. Anyway, that's my strategy anyway. Play Nerdle. I saw that one. I haven't tried it yet, but I did see it. So what we're going to do similar to what we do with the doors. As far as I know, the force fields are all vertical. I might be wrong, though. In fact, I think I am wrong. Of course I'm wrong, because I've seen horizontal ones. Yeah, I know there's horizontal ones, so I don't know what I'm on about. Down here somewhere, aren't they? There they are. There's one. So some of them are horizontal, so we need to make sure that these are lasers, so they don't count. This screen might have to be adjusted, because 4 lasers is going to be really difficult to manage. I'm going to give it a go, though. I'm not going to completely give up on it. But we'll see what happens when I get to that screen. It should be a fun one. Just see what you're doing with the words right now. The words. Oh, you mean in Wordle? Oh, it's completely completely missed the context there. Okay. So for instance here, right, we've got 4 force fields on this screen, so it's not good enough to just init a force field. In fact, we've got 5 on this screen. We need to be able to initialize them all individually. Because we need to tell the thing where they are. Well, so what we need to do is we need to say initialize a force field. So let's go to the screen that we're doing. This is the screen that we're doing. So we're going to say initialize a force field. Our position is here, so we'll give it the top left corner of either the top one or the left one. So it will either be going down or it'll be going to the right. And then we give it a direction. So we're going to pass in 3 parameters here. We're going to pass in an X and a Y and a direction. And then what it's going to do is it's going to find that location. If it's going down, it's going to advance by 1. And then it's going to start drawing those characters in. And it's going to keep doing that until there's no space left. So it's going to keep drawing all the way down here. So that's what we're going to do now. So what we'll do is we'll start with just the vertical one, because that's the more common one. And then we'll add in the horizontal when we get to it. It should be fairly straightforward to do. So add a force field. So what our parameters are going to be here. So we'll take X as our X position. Might as well take Y as Y pos. Makes sense. Yeah, so we'll do it like that. Okay. So what do we need to do? We need to work out screen position from these. So I think actually the easiest way to do this is to have a function which does this for us instead. So instead of passing in X and Y directly like this, what we can do is we can say let's have a function. Let's go in the macros file. Actually, it would be a macro, wouldn't it? So let's put one in here, and let's just try to think of the easiest way to do this. Actually, if we do have a persistent screen location, I guess we do, don't we? Not persistent, but one that we use. Oh, we have screen pos, item screen pos. Yes, so we have this is what's been used to draw everything. Draw screen temp effect. Item screen pos. So let's call this and then what we can do is in our screen stuff. So it was screen 22, was it? No, 12. That was it. Yeah, 12. So initialize our force field, and then we need to add some force fields in. So what we'll do is we'll create a function called set screen xy, and then what this is going to do is it's going to take our values in from here. So our screen xy here is our y is 1, 2, except we've got a HUD up here as well. So it's actually 1, 2, 3, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14,3. And what this is going to do is it's going to set X and Y to not be 14 and 3, but to be the, well, actually, it won't set X and Y, it will set our screen position. So what we'll do is we'll pass in force field screen position. So we'll call it set screen pos. And this set screen pos is basically going to take an X and a Y, and it's going to set a value in 0 page to point to that location. So if we go into our macros function, okay, so it's going to take an X, I'm going to call it XX, and YY, so it does get them confused with registers, and then 0 page location. Now, because zero page location is going to be a single byte here, it's going to be it's not going to be 2 bytes, it's going to be a single byte. We'll need to explicitly tell it to use zero page. So what we need to do is we need to take our two values. So we're going to take, let's just say our value is 0, and we're going to store that at the 0 page location, 0 page lock plus 0, and then the upper byte here as well. Right. So how do we get that byte? Well, we can do this with a var quite easily. So let's create a variable here. We'll call it screen pos, or screen address, I think we'll call it. And let's actually set this to set screen address. It's probably easier, isn't it? So the reason I'm doing this is because this is going to be quite a useful macro, and it saves me having to calculate this on the fly from the X and Y by using lookup tables and stuff. There's no need to use a lookup table. This isn't going to be something that changes. This is a hard-coded address, so it may as well be calculated, or may as well be set directly like this. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to take the screen address. We need screen RAM, and we need to add YY times 40 plus XX. So 28 is in hex is 40 in decimal, plus XX. This gives us our screen address, and then all we need to do here is we need to take screen address lower byte, screen address upper byte, and there we go. That sets the screen address. So now we don't have to worry about converting it and using XY here instead. So instead we can just pass it in the Y register now. Okay, so all we care about is whether it's vertical or not. So we set a screen address in here. So let's get everything together. Let's get cart down there. Macros, don't care about that, goes at the end. Okay, so you set the screen address. Once the screen address is set, we can load the Y with. Well, let's. We're really big on using the constants today for some reason. Okay, I don't seem to have any of them set up here, so I'll just put it up here, whatever. You could also do this with a flag as well. I mean, you could set like the carry flag before you go in or something, but it doesn't hurt to use it this way. It just means you're using a register. And you have to set the register. It's an extra byte, I guess, of code, but is it really needed? So normally it wouldn't matter, right? Normally it wouldn't matter because we wouldn't be using 0 page. But because we're using a macro and we don't know what this is an unknown quantity here. This would default to assuming that this could be a 16-bit value. So the default store accumulator is always going to assume this is a 16-bit value. So because we're passing it in as an unknown value, the first pass it goes through, it goes, well, I don't know what this is, so we're just going to assume that's a 16-bit value. And so while it would still work, it would still behave correctly. That is still, let's say that is still valid code, and does exactly the same as this. It's just this takes up 3 bytes. This takes up 2. This is slower as well. This is like 5 or 6 cycles, whereas this is like 3 or 4. So this is just kind of streamlining it and making sure that it definitely uses 0 page locations. So you have to make sure that when you use set screen address, you use 0 page locations. The reason we want to use to have this is so we've got indirect referencing, which is why we want to use a 0 page location here. So yes, you do absolutely need to include it here, or else it won't use zero page addressing mode. It will use the the standard absolute address mode. Okay. Let's have a look. So load by vertical force field, then we just go to jump to routine, force field, add force field, there we go. Yeah, optimize. It's just yeah. I mean, it would work without it, but it makes sense if it's always going to be a zero page. We may as well force it to be zero page. Otherwise, we're just wasting a byte there for no reason. Oh, I can't see who that is. Hang on, give me a second. There we go. I can. Hero Dev. Let me give them a second to load in. Save some stuff while I'm here. Give them a second to get past all the adverts and stuff. Defend. Welcome along, Hero Dev. Thank you very much for the raid. Welcome everybody that's coming along with Hero Dev. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good stream tonight. What have you been doing tonight? Oh, that's the wrong button to press. I get confused because I've got screens all over the bloody room now, so it's difficult to look at the right thing sometimes and press the right thing. So yeah, hopefully you've been doing some nice code tonight, or at least preparing to do some nice code as we were doing last week. For those who haven't been to my stream before, I'm Shalan 50k. I do mostly assembly language coding. I do a little bit of gaming here and there. Sometimes bring my son on stream and play a few games with him. But mostly it's assembly language coding, 6502 especially, although we have done some Z80 or hybrid Z80 with the Game Boy Color recently. Currently writing a game for the C64, porting a game from... well, it's on pretty much most of the major platforms now. It's on Steam, it's on mobile, it's on Switch as well. I don't think it's on the PlayStation and Xbox, but it's on the other platforms. Called Cecconoid, so it's based on the old Cybernoid games, and it's basically in the style of a kind of Spectrum version of Cybernoid. You know, single color background. Well, it's actually white with a splash of red here and there. And we're just doing a faithful as possible port of that. So in assembly, and it's slow going, but we're getting there. Okay, so I've told it where we want the screen address to start. I've told it that it's vertical, and I've told it to add the force field. So the first thing we can do here is we can check to see if it is vertical. So what we'll do is actually the very last thing we do before we load in is load Y. So we can just immediately do branch. So we can say branch if equal to vertical force field. And we'll stick that down here somewhere. Let's put exit here as well. Let's just tab those all in. I really don't like my indentations being the same on things. Sleep is nice to do on the same one. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've been quite sleepy recently as well. I think it's all the stuff. As I've been doing so much kind of DIY recently, it's kind of screwed me up. I actually I got really numb feet, numb heels, and fingers in my hand, as opposed to fingers where else I don't know. But so I was beginning to worry about it. I was thinking, oh shit, is this diabetes? Because I know your diabetic neuropathy is the kind of thing where you get numb fingers numb fingers and tingly hands and numb feet as well. So I took a diabetes blood test a couple of days ago. Thankfully, it's come back negative, so that's good. So it just means I've overworked myself. Basically, just got RSI, I guess, in this hand and in my legs as well, which isn't surprising considering the stuff I've been doing. I've been doing a lot, so yeah, but whatever. Right, okay. I really wish it would stop doing the OLED saving thing, but I can't seem to get rid of that for some reason. Thank you very much for the follow, Bawaro. Appreciate it as ever. Hopefully you like what you see. Hopefully you keep coming back and we see some more cool stuff as we move our way slowly through this. And I've got this the wrong way around. That should be horizontal force field. Actually, it should start picking up quite a bit because I'm starting to do the same code each stream now rather than a different piece of code, a different game every stream. And we're approaching the point now where actually the framework is, I've spent a year basically building this architecture around this game. And now it's just kind of dropping everything together. And hopefully it goes pretty quickly. Okay, so to add the force field, what do we need to do? So we've already got the address set up, which was that area of memory. So we've got that in a 0-page address somewhere. And that 0-page address was force field screen pos. I think it was. Yeah. So that's what we need to do. We need to take something and store it at this location. And then we need to increase the value in there and take something and store it in this location. Now, the values that we need to store there are the values that are stored down here, which is these indices here. So the first one is that value. I add the +0 because then we know that we're taking multiple things here, and then add 1. So now I've stored 2 characters in this location. However, that's not quite right because what I need to do first is I need to go down a row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the add row function here, and that's going to take this address here, and it's going to add a value to it. So we're going to take this address, and we're going to add 28 to it, and that's going to skip us down a row. We need to clear the carry bit here. And I need to somehow get my screen to go brighter. I need to figure out how to turn that OLED dimming off. It won't go. It's fine. I just got to deal with the text getting darker and darker as I work. I mean, thank you for saving my OLED, but I think they underestimate how often I buy TV screens. I really don't need it to last that long. Okay, so we've moved down a row. So it seems a bit weird that I would do this first and then do this, but it really doesn't matter which way round I do these things, and because the function that I gave it before finds the dome, I need to advance by 1. But the great thing is as soon as I've advanced, the next thing I can do. Let me write in what I'm doing here. So advance a row. Delete the wrong thing. Check for blanks. So we can only draw the force field if this next position is blank. So what I need to do is I need to load Y with 0. And then I need to load the character that's in this location. Now, if this character is not 0, in other words, if it's not this character here, then it's not a blank space. So in other words, we've hit this, or we've hit a wall, or whatever, right? So in that case, if it's not equal, we've finished. We go to exit. We jump to exit. So this is really good because what it means is as soon as we've drawn a character on here, we can jump straight up to here, repeat it, and we just keep going. So we're going to draw here, and then we're just going to jump back to... vertical force field. And that's it. That's going to draw our character down the screen. So we should be able to test that out now. That should be enough to see that appear on the screen. Use a BCC to save 2 bytes. Yeah, could do, couldn't we? So take a look at that in a minute. Ooh, do I give GHAF the first AMK points? I think I maybe should. Just to really wind Andy up. We've got an error here somewhere. Hang on. Can't define a macro here. Define it the direct scope of the current namespace, not say constructs. Screen. Oh, if I don't. Where have I defined a macro? Did I do it something wrong? Oh, I must have deleted that by mistake. There we go. Yep. So I think GHAF is right, and I'm going to give GHAF the first 5 points of the season. If I can find his name on. Oh my god, that is very small. It's hard to read. Okay, this is a bit of a guess, but I think that's right. Yeah, seed for random would be really nice. I think that's a really good point, actually, because one of the things random is used for a lot, certainly in the stuff I'm doing, and I guess for demos as well, would be to generate some random noise for something or other. So yeah, I think having that ability to not just generate some random noise, but find some random noise that you'd like, and then keep that seed is a very, very nice feature indeed. So field char indices to +1. Well, we can just use branch if equal here rather than BCC. Because actually the carry flag would be clear as well here as well. Yeah, let's use actually clear because it's fine. We'll use this. We'll use exactly the one you said. Because I did want to use bra and I stopped because it doesn't exist. So in 6502, 6510. Where is Andy anyway? I'm annoyed he hasn't spotted that we've given points to not him. Hey, look at that. We have an AMK chart now. You tend not to use jump unless you absolutely need to. It kind of doesn't matter. If you're not really bothered about bytes, then it doesn't matter. A jump is 3 cycles, a branch is 3 cycles if taken. So either way, you're going to use 3 cycles to do your jump. Actually, I think it's 3. Is it 3 jump? I'm pretty sure it's 3. I might be wrong though. It might be more. There he is. I think it's 3. Yes, it's 3. It's indirect that's more. Okay, so it's the same as a branch. A branch is 2 cycles if you don't take it. It's 3 cycles if you do take it. As it says here, add 1 cycle if a branch is taken. So it's exactly the same. It just saves a byte. That's the main thing. So are you thinking on the add 0? Oh. Do you know what? He definitely earned his points there. Definitely earned his points there. Because you've saved us a couple of bytes there now. We've saved... you've actually saved 3 bytes there. And 1 byte there. So you saved us 4 bytes total. Oh, Andy. Yeah, I tend not to do that very often, and I think it's probably because I don't think about it as a 16-bit plus an 8-bit. I'm always thinking about it as a 16 plus a 16-bit. I should think more like when it is an 8-bit on a 16-bit, then use the branch instead. Yeah, I mean, I definitely do use this when I'm optimizing. I will go through and I will do this, but my habit is immediately to just do the add 0. I do immediately think of it as a 16-bit plus a 16-bit. But yeah, like when I've gone through and done this in scrollers and things like that, then I'll go back and optimize, and I will do stuff like this anyway. But yeah, that's a good call. That's some good bytes saved there, I think. Who are you watching anyway, Andy? I'm intrigued who you're watching now, if indeed you are, or if you were just winding me up. Cool, there we go. So now we've got it in there. And you can see it's drawn directly down to the bottom there. So, as it stands, that's not amazing, right? So, he said Amaranth. Oh, man. So, here's what we'll see. This is what we're talking about, Nicomo. I mean, not Nicomo, talking about the sea. If you look at that now, then I run it again. Oh, you're working. Oh, yeah, because you work with us. Oh, God, man. See, some of these are going to be interesting, some of them are going to be less interesting. You can see how it changes every time. So it's about finding a nice pattern in there. So what we're going to do, though, is we're going to animate this, because this isn't enough like this. It needs to be animated as well. Now, the animation is just a random noise pattern. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to, every frame, we're going to take a line and we're going to switch it with another line. So we're going to pick a number from 0 to 7, and we're going to pick another different number from 0 to 7, and we're just going to swap those two lines over. We're just going to keep doing that every frame. What will happen is the whole thing will kind of look like it's moving around a little bit. Another way we could do it as well is we could just pick a random number, and we could insert that into one of the lines at random. No. So with the Australia word, does that mean, how does it work? Do you, are your hours basically Australia hours? Do you get to kind of relax through the days? Are you off basically during the daytime and you have to work at night? So you're basically permanently nights, or is it just a case of you're on call all the time? Because the second one sounds awful. So let's go with the original idea of swapping some lines over. 90 hours. Jesus. That's not good, man. That's not good. 90 hours at ungodly times as well. That's the worst thing. That's really not good. That can't be healthy for you, man. You need to find a way out of that, I guess. That doesn't sound fun at all. Okay, so we'll put an update in here. Okay, and like all the other screens, we have an update in here that we can use. We've got a dynamic one in here, so we're just going to go swarm update, force field update. Now, as we move through the screens, you'll find some of the screens have force fields that turn on and off on timers. Some of them turn off because of switches that you've pressed elsewhere. There's lots of different ways to trigger these, so we'll need to enhance this file as we go on and find ways to persist some of this data between screens. We have the persist data, we can do that. We just need to find a way to make that work for these. But when we come to that, we'll worry about that. But for now, let's just get it set up and figure out how to just animate it. Because what we have is these dynamics. These are loaded in dynamically. This screen 12 dynamic, but there is the screen 12 ASM which is not loaded. This is persistent, so this stays around all the time, which is why the persistence data is loaded in here if it has some. So we can store additional data in here if we want to regarding the status of the force fields and such. We won't at the moment. We're not going to do that right now, but when we do need it, this is where it will end up living. Okay, so force field update. And what does force field update need to do? Well, force field update needs to know what the locations in memory are for these characters. So this is another kind of routine that we need to generate addresses for. Now, the easiest way to do this is to generate a single address for one character, and we'll do that here. I think we probably have this function somewhere, but it's going to be so small anyway. It's fine, and this is a dynamic let's give it a full name, generate char address. So basically what this is going to do is every frame we're going to, no, actually we can just do this once, can't we? So let's get the char address set up. In zero page, let's have a look. We've got screen vec, screen temp vec, door font vec, door temp x, collision sprites, door font index. I guess it would be this one still, because this is only used for setting it up and fetching the font. So we'll do it in here. So we'll call this. Actually, this is font fetch, isn't it? This is still font fetch because we're still getting the font data here. All right. So basically, we need to populate this address with a value derived from this index here. So that's the end result. And actually, it would be so value and whatever that value would be, right? So that value needs to come from here. And the easiest way to do this is to basically have two values that we set. Let's think about this. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the value 0. I'm going to store it there. I'm going to like that, right? Okay, so we're resetting those values in those locations. Now, what I need to do is I need to take this value. Actually, if I store that at this location, okay, let me think about this. Hang on. Okay. So I've got this index, and I'm storing it here, and then I need to times it by 8. So I need to shift this value and increment this value every time. So I'm not sure if this is possible actually through the. Let's have a look. Can I do? It's shift left, isn't it? I have to do shift left. ASL. I'm looking for. Do we have 0 page X? We have 0 page X, but not 0 page. Oh no, indirect. No, we don't. All right. Balls. All right. So I need to. Okay, let me think about this. Okay. Just trying to think of the most sensible way of doing this. I think the easiest way to do this is to create a temporary first here, I think. And then transfer it at the end. So otherwise, we're going to run into the situation where we don't have the addressing modes available. And actually, it saves us needing the Y register until right at the end. So it actually simplifies it a little bit. And then it means what we can do is we can take this value here and we can adjust this one at the same time. So basically, we shift this value to the left, and then hang on, is that right? Shift left. Yeah, shift the whole. So that's by 8. Hang on, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay. So then this would be roll. There we go. Right. Oops. Oh, my brain's not working properly. There we go. And we do that 3 times. So this is times by 8. So now this address is the offset from the character ROM. And then the character ROM is, I believe, at I'm going to say C800. Is it in the constants? I hope it is. Font. So we're looking for font data. Font. I sort of would have thought that would have been in here. And the font space, no. Screen RAM, color RAM. It's going to be C800, isn't it? I'm pretty sure of that. Let's check where it's loaded in. Actually, I can check in the screen charts of base sprites. Well, that helps a lot. I think it's C800. I'm pretty sure it's C800. Yeah, that would make sense because D00 onwards is going to be sprites. Screens at CS is going to be C800. All right, let's just put it in there. I can always change it if it's not. And now what we need to do, actually, if we don't store this one straight away, and instead we just get rid of that. And then I don't have to do this, I just do this. Oops. So I only need 1 byte here. That means the accumulator now contains the lower byte. So now we can store that at our location, which was the oops. And actually that can be font fetch +1. So actually I don't need that down there at all. All right. It does work with 0 page, so that should be fine. Cool. Right. So we store the accumulator there. Now what we need to do is we need to add a value to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, we're going to clear the carry bit, and we're going to add. So this is add MSD of char. We're going to add. I mean, the carry bit should be clear here anyway because we're rolling this value. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get rid of that. So we're going to add that. Cool. Right, there we go. So it's probably about as small as I'm going to get it without too much effort. So generate char address. So I only need to do this once. So we'll do this up here after copy chars because we do need that value there. So we'll jump to the routine, generate char address. Right, there we go. So now at this point, font fetch actually has that value in it. Now, I don't think there's any other reason we need to mess with font fetch at this point. So I think we're perfectly fine to use that in the update and nothing else will interfere with it. We shall see. Your game charge was loaded at C800. Thank you. And that last file you had up. Really? Why didn't I see that? Game. Oh, and this one, game chars. Yeah, there we go. Thank you very much. It's crazy how popular that Wordle's been. When I first saw it on Twitter, I thought, "Oh god, this is going to annoy me." But I've actually really got into doing it. So, what file was it? I was in this one, wasn't it? All right, update. Okay, so now we have a value in font fetch. So if we take the value, let's just pick 2 random locations, right? So if I set this value, I just want to demonstrate that this works now. Okay, and I put that in to the X register, and then I load. Wait, hang on. Take the value from there, put it in here, take this value. Okay, so this would be like this. I feel like this is really inefficient how I'm doing this. Hang on. Also, god damn, I wish this screen would brighten up. There we go. Right, hang on. I want to take a value. I want to swap it with another value. There's a way of doing this with logic. I can never remember what it is. All right, never mind. Oh, I'm starting to get tired. What time are we on? Do another hour, I think. So they're doing. No. So that's what I'm trying to do, but I think there's an easier way of doing this. It seems rather excessive for swapping two numbers over. White tax. It's probably right, though, actually, thinking about it. I was trying to think it was an easier way. But there is a way of doing this with or in two numbers as well. I can never remember what it is. Actually, let me see if I can find it. It was was it fast switch integers without temp? There's a way of doing it with ors. I can never remember what it is. Yeah, just show me the answer. I don't care. Go away with all this crap. Oh my god. Yeah, you just lost all chance I'm ever going to use your site ever again. Ah, that's it. Exclusive or, that's it. So you take the value exclusive or. But I'm still using temps. So let me just see what happens here. So if I take that value. Well, I mean, this is. It doesn't matter because I can't do it. I can't do it anyway. It's impossible for me to do it because I don't. I can't do. I don't think I can do exclusive or on. Oh no, I can on zero page. Oh, okay. It wouldn't matter though because I still have to put it back. It really doesn't matter. So I may as well just do this. Take the values, store them. Don't have to store that one because I can just put it straight back in here. Which is the same as using the transfer X to the accumulator. So yeah, this is the right way to do it. This is the right way to do it. Never mind. I thought there was a quicker way of doing it, and I think there is if you have two values, like you just have a value in memory and a value in the accumulator. But because I've got values in indirect locations, I have to do it like this. So the other thing I need to do is I need to randomize these values because what I need to do is once I've done this, I then need to do it again with +8 on each of these. So I'll show you what I mean. So this becomes like this. So what I need to probably do is have a routine which picks a random number, picks another random number, and then calls this routine, then adds 8, and then calls this routine again. So that would do what this is doing here. But let me just show you what I mean, what that's doing now. So this is only going to swap 2 lines, but it should swap 2 lines within that thing. So you should see 2 lines kind of flicker within the force field. If I've done my job right, which it looks like I've not, because I've added an S in somewhere. No. What have I done there? Just make sure I didn't break something there. Let's just run it without the update. Font fetch. I bet font fetch is pointing to somewhere completely different. I probably need to. Oh no! Look, it stops there. Why does it stop there? Does it think that's a non-character? Okay, I'm going to add a new. I don't trust that at all, so I'm going to add a new one in here. Just check what my memory usage is around there. Where's my 0 page stuff? Oh, here we go. Temporary 0 page storage. Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be. Oh my god! I keep spelling that wrong every time. So that. Oh, this tune. Why is he doing that? Why is it stopping there? Wait a minute. What is going on here? Right. So, coffee chars. Let's just not generate the force of those. Let's just see what happens if I don't do that. It's very bizarre. I feel like. Ah. Also, glitches out, so I need to make sure it's cleared on release as well, like the doors are. Because it's a dynamic char. So okay, so why is that suddenly only drawing to there? So carry is clear. It wants to here. Because the carry is there here, but that shouldn't matter. Oh, actually, that's a really good point. That does matter. Because this doesn't actually clear the carry flag. We'd need to clear the carry flag directly after it, like this, for it to be used. That's why. sort of lost one of the bytes that we saved, but thanks, Mike. Good to have you on stream as well. Back from the pub. Good man. What have you been drinking tonight? I've been drinking lemonade. Yeah, there we go. That's perfect. Oh, nice and boring. Yeah, so it was this basically. This causes an issue. That's fine. It's fine. You just got to remember that increment doesn't clear the carry flag. So using that trick does mean you have to be aware of that. But we still save some bytes anyway. Does it need a way leave to go further? Oh, I'm not sure what you mean there. Good night, Mythical Duck. Thanks for joining. Hopefully see you again soon. All right, see if the update is called this time, and let's generate the chart. We probably could use font fetch now, but whatever. We'll worry about that if we run out of space in zero page. 2 pints of John Smith's saying we'll glam around you. Oh, I don't like whiskey at all. Bit of John Smith's don't mind a bit of it. I mean, I'm not I wouldn't go out of my way to order it all the time, but it doesn't bother me too much. So it's probably hard to tell on here, but it is flickering. Two of these lines of video, it's just doing it so fast we're probably seeing them both. So let's add the randomness in, and it should hopefully change things a little bit. So we should have a random routine already in here. It doesn't really have to be super random. This is perfectly fine for our purposes here. This force field doesn't have any effect other than cosmetic, so we should be all right with this. And the numbers are so low as well that you're going to get kind of repeating patterns anyway. So we should be all right. Let's go into force field. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to just swap this around a little bit. So what we'll do, first of all, we'll generate two random numbers. So I'm going to jump to some routine, utils.random. Is it just utils.random? Yes. One of my cats is Mia. Come up here. Come and say hello. You're lucky. I think you're going to get to see the other cat if she appears. Come here. Hello. 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 You're a little baby, aren't you? Eh? Yeah. Say hello to everybody. No. She's not one for being picked up either. Shouldn't a force field be repetitive anyway? Yes, I guess so. Lost 3.57 from August to December and I just maintain. Oh, that's what I need to try and do. Definitely need to try and do that. Well done. That's really good. I do not seem to be able to to lose weight or keep it off if I do. So I'm hoping that's going to change though soon. Well, we shall see. We'll see what happens. So we're just going to store these in some locations here. Now, we do need this to be valid from 0 to 7. It doesn't really matter if the same number gets picked up. It's just going to do a useless swap that's going to do nothing. So it's a bit Steve Rowlands again. Who's picking these? Thalamus. Good choices, man. Right, took some Rollins. Yeah, it's good, man. I do like these. I've been bobbing my head to them. Okay, so with these two numbers, we can basically we'll call this swap lines, and we'll put this in here, right? So this is basically going to swap these lines over, and instead of loading these values like this, we're now going to load these. Like that. So now I don't need to do this bit here either. So now what I can do, oops, is here I just take. Now I know these numbers are less than, they're never going to overflow when I add, so I don't need to. I only need to clear the carry flag once. There we go. Cool. Right. So now this should randomize a little bit. We might have to put some delays in here for a few things. Done 35k running this month. Wow, Jesus. Yeah, do you know what? I've got the latest 364. I put it on my shelf somewhere. I haven't read it yet. And it's really cool that he's doing that as well. Really interested to read what he's talking about. Yeah, there we go. So now it's actually juggling some stuff around in there. I think it's a little bit fast at the moment. So let's. Also, I don't think the random numbers are quite that good. Yeah, I've ordered a rowing machine for the bedroom because it's something I can do while I watch TV. I struggle with the exercise bike. I don't get comfortable at all when I'm on an exercise bike. But a rowing machine's a little bit different. It's a much more comfortable seating position, I think, than a bike. Yeah, there we go. That's not too bad. So I think if we just slow this down by 1 frame, so if we run it at half frame rate, this will be actually quite nice. So let's just do that quickly. That should be pretty easy to do. We just do that in the update in here. So what we're going to do is going to load. Is it called frame timer? Is that the one? I think that's the one anyway. And let's just add that with 0, 1. If that's equal to 0, we jump ahead. Otherwise, we return.
Certified for a moment.
Certified for a moment. Can you show that full screen? Yes, no problem. Let me, if I switch to that mode, you should be able to see it a little bit better. Thank you very much for the sub, TLMR GVF. I don't know how you say that. Tell them. But yeah, thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate it, as ever. Did that actually compile right, or did it? Yeah, it did. The frame timer was in there. All right, let's just rebuild that a second. Close all the windows. Get a fresh one. Yeah, row machine to me just feels more comfortable. There's something about that kind of action where you've got your legs doing different things when you're on a saddle, which just makes it uncomfortable after a while, especially when you've got a bit of weight on you. So yeah, I'm just kind of happy to have something that I can sit down on, and I'm not really. I mean, there is a little, because the difference is you're doing that kind of knees out sort of thing as you go. So, but I find it easy. Weirdly, even though it does more for you, I find it easier a row machine as well. Yeah, it works your core exactly. So. That looks all right. I think the only problem we've got now is that the pixels that it's choosing for the locations are a bit wrong. So actually, let's have a quick look. Let me just drop back into this mode. Let's have a quick look, see if we can find a screenshot of the particles, and then we can just put them in. Might as well just put them in directly. Well, there you go. There's one. So actually, they're quite sparse in places. Oh, that was the wrong thing to do. That's what I wanted to do. No, that's not. God damn it! With all these things, reject all. That's not what I wanted at all. I wanted that there. There we go. That's what I wanted. Right. Yeah, they're very sparse actually. So let's take couple of sections of this. Actually, it's also not the full width, is it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 wide, not 8 wide. Okay, so it's 6 wide and quite sparse as well. So Bowflex bike is murder on the old. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what it does. I find I try to use a bike, and I think, right, I'll put it in front of the TV, and I'll just focus on the TV, and I'll forget about the bike. And I can't. I'm just constantly thinking about how it's hurting my ass. So yeah, I got a rower, got an air resistance rower coming next week, I think. And I'm just gonna, half an hour before I go to bed, before I get in the shower, just gonna jump on that and see if I can. That's a good one, Mike. I like that. I'll see if I can't kind of do something magical to myself and get myself down, because my weight is ridiculous. Put it this way, my weight is bad enough that while I was looking for a rowing machine, the number one feature of the rowing machine was not what the resistance type was, or that was a very close second. The number one feature I was looking for was that it would support my weight. That's how bad my weight is. So I had to reject a lot of rowing machines because they couldn't support my weight. That's not good. That's not a good situation to be in, really, if you're having to reject half of the exercise equipment because it is too weak to handle you. Hello. You come to say hello again? Come on then, come say hello. Say hello. You're not happy, are you? Eh? You're not happy, bunny? Okay. You're not happy, are you? Talking said one at a time, please. Walk on the treadmill at lunch while reading Hitchhiker's Guide. Treadmills, I don't mind. This guy's never happy. She needs Spain. She's wandered around the house for about 8 months of the year, for about 1 week in every 3. Over the course of the next 8 months, she'll walk around the house just making ridiculous noises. Basically trying to flirt with everything. It's I feel embarrassed for her, to be honest. All right, let's just take a little snapshot of this and put it on there. Let me just put this over here, and oops. If I just put that there, I should be able to see it as I. Okay, so instead of doing this, I'm just going to take a section of this instead, and hopefully it will look a little bit better. So, so we're doing the left-hand side. So we want 5 bytes and then some data. So we'll do 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. And what we're going to do is I'm going to do it from this section. I'm trying to pick a nice section on here now. Okay. So I'm going to go. You can't see what I'm actually doing here, which section I'm copying, but you'll get an idea from what I'm drawing on here. Because it is really sparse. It's like it's not as well populated as I thought it was. And then down here is the other side of this, and that would be. So this needs to be at this end, so it's going to be here instead. No, actually, that one's. I mean, this isn't exact, but it's roughly what you can see, because it's not going to be every single line. We're just taking a snapshot of some in the middle somewhere. but it should look a little bit more like the like what we're expecting. It was far too dense before. That was the problem. So I've got one cat that just likes to be on the highest thing he can get on, that he's not allowed on. So we've got this massive cat tree, and it is the highest. It's the highest point in any of the rooms, but it's not the place he likes to go. What he likes to do is he likes to sit on top of shelves with items on, or he sits on top of my. So I've got resin printers, and they've got this. I wouldn't say flimsy, but it's not, it's not very secure lid that go like a UV filter lid that goes over the top, and it's only probably about the size of a. Oh God, I mean, to use retro terms, the size of a PC Engine. So there's maybe 10 centimeters square on the top, and he just likes to sit on top of that. Yeah, he's a pain in the ass. Or like I've got a $2,000 computer sat on a shelf that I fixed the shelf into the wall. I'll show you. You can see that over there. So that computer is on a shelf that I fixed into the wall. I'm paranoid about it as it is, right? Because the computer weighs about 20 kilos. I'm not too happy about it being on a shelf, but I have used really long, 85mm screws to screw it into the wall and proper wall fixing plugs. And I'm fairly sure it's all right, but he likes to sit on top of it. He likes to climb up there and sit on top of the bloody thing, and it just pisses me off. It's like all the things he could sit on, he decides to sit on that. Sister Cat's like the high shelf. Oh, see, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. And like these shelves up here, so I've got these shelves with all my handhelds on, and he likes to just climb on them. They're not. There's no room for him on there, but he likes to get on them. So I've had to kind of the stands that I 3D printed for the devices, they're affixed to the shelves now. They're stuck to the shelves. I've got these sticky pad things that stick into the shelves. It's just turning into a football. No, because I love my cats. I don't kick them around or slap them or anything. Like, what's his face? Zoomer. There we go. So it looks a little bit better. I think if I was to change this a little bit, I would say maybe we could add an extra row of characters in, or just play around a little bit with the values to make them perfect. But it's definitely looking a lot better. The other solution could be to just add random numbers in as well. But I'm not sure how that's going to work. In fact, let's try that, right? So if I... Yeah, okay, so this is how I'm going to do this. So what we're going to try now, so this is one method, which is to basically swap the lines over every frame. So we'll keep that the same. So let's just here swap lines. And this one will be random line. So the way this is going to work is a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a number, a random number, and I'm going to make it 0 or 1. Yeah, 0, 1. And then I'm going to times that by 8. So now we've got 0 or 8. Okay. And then I am going to store that in this location, and then I'm going to do this again. Don't use SID to generate better randomness. It's too regular compared to the original. I think the problem is not so much that the random number generator is... Because what we're doing is we're just swapping lines over. And the problem is that we've only got 8 lines to work with. So the regularness is not to do with the random number generator, but to do with the size of the characters. So I'm going to try this one out now to see if this looks any better. we go. Sorry. The listen was for the black screen, yeah. We're going to try this one out now just to see if this works any better. I suspect that what we're going to have to do, though, is we're going to have to we're going to have to extend the River Raid. Well done, SP. We're going to have to extend the character set to be a bit more to be a bit longer, and then if we do that, what we can do is we can randomize where they're put in the list as well, so they're not always in the same place. So we can maybe do 4 characters and dish them around in random places so that they're not, it's not the same pattern all the way down. But I want to try this one first because I've got an idea for how we could make the line kind of randomization a bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, so this, first of all, this value here is now 0 or 8. This is our offset into which one is going to be changed. Now we've got a value here, which is going to be from 0 to 7. I'm going to put that in here into the Y register. Then I'm going to set 0 into, what's it called? Force field charger. So there we go. Y. And then I'm just going to let's put the clear carry flag here as well, because I'm not sure. I don't think it would have been set for any reason here. Oh, it might have been actually. No, it wouldn't have been. It would be clear. Okay, it would be clear, so I don't need that. So now we clear that particular line. So now we have cleared a line. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the value that we originally got, which is this value here, which is either 0 or 8. I'm going to store this one. I'm going to call that rest day 1. Power effect should still be clear here, so we're going to just add. Okay, so now what we have is we have a value which is pointing just A1. This is 108. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So this value now is pointed into this place correctly, and what we need to do is store a value in there. So the value that we're going to store is going to be random number generated ended with 15. So it seems a bit weird, but what basically what I'm doing is I'm taking a random number from 0 to 15, and I'm storing it in one half of the force field. So one side is always going to be blank, one side is going to have the random number in, and it's going to randomly pick where and which side it's going to be. So I'm hoping that creates a slightly more random pattern. But as I say, I think the bigger problem is going to be that the force field is only 8 pixels high. So no matter what we do, it's still going to be kind of fairly samey. It's going to be, the pattern's going to stay the same. In fact, it's completely wrong because it's on the wrong side now. So I think the first method is probably better anyway, because this is still not going to work even if I fix this. But what we'll do is we'll extend the characters. Good night, Mike. Thanks for joining. What time are we on actually? We've got about half an hour. So yeah, let's extend this. Let's extend this down. So I'll keep the swap lines because I think that works quite well. Certainly better than the random line one. And we'll work on this a little bit. But first of all, what I'm going to do before I do that, I'm just going to return so we don't actually do anything here. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate force field stuff from here. So let's reverse this a little bit. Let's go back. Let's just comment that out. Let's try something here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate pairs of these. So we're going to do this a few times, which we've already done once, but I'm going to do it again. So this is going to be that side, and this needs to be a random number up to 7, not yeah, like that. And it doesn't need to be +1, so it just needs to be 0. Actually, random times 8, so it'd be 0 to 7. Oh, it should be floor as well. And then we do the same on the other side. We'll shift that 5, right? So this should create, let's just make sure that works before I continue. So it should create 2 characters. Okay, cool. Right, and it's semi-random. But now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat that. We'll do it 4 times first. Let's see. Actually, let's do it 8 times because we have quite a lot with the doors as well. So 8 should be fine. 8 should be absolutely fine. All right. So what we need to do here then is we need to repeat this. Well, let's do 8. I think 8's fine. So we're creating 16 characters basically, in pairs. And let's put the okay. So what we've created here is a constant which defines the size of the field. So this is how many characters high a field can be before it needs to repeat again. And so now we can use this when we add the force field in and we draw it. We can decide which one we're going to use from this list here. So we can do this quite easily by so we take X there and we do X here. And because we're doing it in pairs, we need to increment X twice each time. And then what we'll do here, just to make sure that it's we keep that power of 2. That means that this piece of code will work, which is just looping that value back around again. And now we've got a force field which should take 8 characters up instead of however many we had. And it's only doing... Okay, let's work out why that's doing that. Just think about this. So it comes in here, takes the screen position. Do we use X for anything? We don't, do we? And we don't use accumulator before then either. Okay, so X should be fine as our incrementer. And we field chart indices, which is this value here. Field size times 2, so it should be 0. Oh, field chart indices. Okay, so I know why this is wrong, because we're only copying the first 2 characters in, so although it repeated rather quickly, didn't it? That was weird. Oh, okay. So the reason it's repeating so quickly now is because I'm ANDing this with this -1, but because it's incrementing 2 at a time, we need to make sure that this is like that. There we go. Sweet. That looks much more random now. Much more random. So now what I think we can do is we can actually take the update function. We can probably remove this now. I don't think we need to time it because we want it to update as much as possible at once. So what we'll do is we'll take a random number. Oh, hang on. This is not going to be... Ooh, so this gets a little bit tricky now, because what we need to do is we need to generate 2 char addresses. So one for this value here, and we need the source and the title. Because the thing is because the font might wrap around, it's very possible that these addresses might not be correct. So they might wrap around to the other side. So technically we need 4 addresses here. So this would have been a bug actually, which would have cropped up in some very obscure cases. So technically what we need is we need 4 addresses here. So we need to take the 2 bytes that we're working with, 4 bytes, sorry, that we're working with. So the left and right for the source and the left and right of the target, and create 4 addresses from them. So we need to change this up a little bit. So what we'll do is we'll take this value and we'll use the Y register here, I think, to do this. So we're going to pass in the accumulator here. No, hang on. Do it the X register, and then I can do store X, comma Y. Let me just make sure I can do these things. 0 page, comma Y, 0 page. Yeah, so I can do store X, comma Y. Can I do roll X, comma... No, I can do comma X. I know. So X is our offset. Y is the value we want to change. So, okay. There we go. Right. So we're just changing the way this function is working. So what we're doing, instead of hard coding a single value, we're going to have 4 words here instead of 1 word. And basically we tell it we want to add this character to this location in the array, which means we're going to have to do this every frame. So it's not going to be quick at all. So I think, is there a better way of doing this? I mean, another way would be to shuffle the characters around to have this change every... yes, okay. Maybe that's the way to do it. All right, let me come back to that in a second. Let me try something here. No, damn it, it's not going to work either, is it? because it's using zeros. Okay, well, we'll try it this way. See how slow it is first. There's always a better way. You just have to think of it. Yeah, this will work, but I'm just worried that this might be a bit slow. So 2. Well, actually, maybe it's not that bad. But then we do have to do the swap as well. This tune is mental. Okay, so what would have to happen is we'd have to take. Oh no, hang on. No, still not. There's a way to do this that's way simpler than what I'm doing. There's got to be. We're in all elements to the force in a circle. What I'm trying to avoid is huge amounts of updates to data. So with eight kind of characters high, that's 16 actual characters you need to update with 8 pixels, with 8 rows in each one. So that's 128 numbers to update. So I don't want to update all 128 in one go, because that's a huge amount of stuff to be doing this to. So I want to minimize that down to 4. So I literally just want to take one line and swap it with another line. But the problem is I don't know where they are in the character set. So because the character set is dynamic, all I have is this array of char indices here. So maybe what I should be doing is just taking any 2 of these instead of any 4 of these and swapping these things over, which means these would be fine. So let me try this out, right? So if I take this, which is now an array, so let me just put so now I've got 2 of these things in here. So what I'm thinking to do is I need to generate 2 addresses. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab 2 of these values at random. Char indices. So let me do this let's do it in the update up here. Let me just do it before everything else. So this is the original one. Let's go and do this one. So I'm going to take utils.random. We're going to AND that with, and we've already got the force field size. So doing this basically should give us. Okay, so that gives us a value somewhere in this index list. So now we've got 1 character that we've picked at random. So now so that's the character I want. So if I set that to Y register and set X to 0, so transfer that to Y and load X to 0 and then generate char address. Right, so now we have a single character address. So now I do the same again, but this time I set the index to 2. So now I've got 2 character addresses. So instead of thinking of it as 8 characters in a column of 2 characters, 8 sections in a column of 2 characters each, I'm thinking of it as just 16 characters. And it's going to swap 2 regardless of where they are. It could be 2. It could be swap these 2 lines over on the same character. It could be swap a left character with a left character, swap a left with a right, and so on and so on. So, and if it does this 50 times a second, that means every 2 seconds the whole thing will change, and it should be gradual enough that it should still look pretty decent, I think. Good night, Dockster. Yeah, I do need vodka, don't I? That would solve a lot of my problems. I need my screen to be bright. I keep thinking I'm going blind. Okay, so now I've got 2 addresses. So now what do I need to do? I need to swap 2 lines over. So I can do this basically with this function. But the difference is I can't just do it exactly like this. I need to change the Y registers in here. No, I need to change these values, don't I? Okay, so let me just copy this, all of this up here. I'm going to leave the original one here in case I want to put it back again. Call it swap line so it works. Right, okay, so now I'm taking another random number and another random number. So now I've got two random numbers from 0 to 7, which is correct, because I've got the character address, and now I need an offset into that to get a single line of pixels. This isn't going to work, is it? Because I can't swap left and right, because left is left aligned bits and right is right aligned bits. Ah, shit. All right. Well, let me do this first and see what it kind of looks like. It'll give me a rough idea, and then maybe I can do some filtering to make it work. Maybe. It's fine. I'll get this working first, and then I'll think about it. So, because I can always just change the random character offset to match left and right. So you're always swapping a right for a right or a left for a left. That's fine. Okay, so that would just be changing this value up here, which I can sort. Let's just get this working first, and then I can fix that. Okay, so swap line. So I wouldn't be calling this directly because I don't want to add 8 to it. I literally just want to swap stuff in. Oops. I want to basically do this. But I want to do this by. Okay, so. It's almost like it needs the X-indexed address in here to do this, but I'm using these random numbers, so it's not quite going to work. But the rarely used zero-page X indexing could almost work here if it wasn't for the need for the Y as well. Okay, so that should swap 2 characters over, but what we're going to see is it go from a nice thin beam to something which is kind of scrappy and all over the place. So that's when I need to change. Once I pick the first random number, I need to, whatever the last bit is, if it's an odd number, then the next random number needs to be an odd number. If it's an even number, then the next random number needs to be an even number. Which sounds way trickier than it actually is. Because an odd number has bit 1 set, bit 0 set, an even number doesn't have bit 0 set. So it's actually quite simple to do, really. I mean, I could do it right now, I guess. So that's in. Yeah, let's push it onto the stack there. So pull it off the stack, and then we will just, if we just shift this to the right, then whatever's in bit 0 of that original number will now be on the carry flag. So the carry is now set for the original value. So if this value is odd, then the carry flag is set. So that means here, all I really need to do is, if the carry flag is clear, and let me just make sure that the random Ah, shit, the random does do something, doesn't it? Okay. Yeah, okay. And then we pull the processor flag here. If the carry is clear, we jump ahead. Otherwise, we OR with 0-1. Okay, it's a weird one, but it works. I hope it works anyway. Oh, good tune. Is this the Rasterline, or whatever it is? Okay, so it's doing it, but it's doing it to the wrong characters. Okay, so that's the next step, is making it pick the right characters. All right, generate chart address. Okay, so what are we passing in? We're passing in. No, see, we're picking a value here, but what we should be doing is then going force field. They're called field char indices. Here we go. Getting there, yeah. I think it was it. I was using a direct value rather than an indirect value. Should have been using an index. For some reason, I was just directly trying to use that value. Okay, so that's kind of working. It's just a bit slow now. So we can kind of fix that maybe by calling the update more than once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put this in here. I'm just going to call it update part. And so if I call it once and then don't drop out of it, but just jump straight into this section here, it's going to basically call it once and then call it again and exit. So I use tail call to save me doing another JSR, which is just going to save a few bytes and save a few cycles as well. And we can just keep adding them in, and we can see how much time it takes. We'll do some border trickery in a minute to see what it looks like. But it's looking a lot better, and I think if those values were less crazy, we'd be all right. So the other thing we can do here is we can, in the force field here, so if we go just into the random, so this is just kind of making this a bit less shitty. So at the moment it's picking a value from 0 to 7, but we kind of don't want 7. We kind of want 1, 0, 2, 4, maybe 5. 1, 0, 2, 4, 5. So if I do it up to 6, that might improve the look of it slightly. As I say, we'll pick some proper values for them at some point, but this should be a bit better. And then we'll stick some border stuff in and see just how kind of slow this is on the border. There's some optimization that can be done around it, I'm absolutely sure, but yeah, that looks quite nice actually now. Okay, let's stick some border stuff in and see how many times we need to do it to make it look right. So in the update function here, I'm going to do. So for now, I will put the tail call stuff in just while I use the border stuff. So I think I can use, is it debug? And then is it that? The EastEnders. I think it's debug. I need to check that though. It'll be in macros, won't it? Debug lowercase, okay. Oh no, that prints the like border. There we go. And only if debug is off in here. Define debug. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do. Problem is, I bet I'm using border everywhere as well. Yeah, it was EastEnders. Okay, we're doing quite a lot, but it looks like this red section here is what it is. This is heavy because of the swarm as well. The swarm really does make this screen nasty because it's doing a lot of multiplexing. It's doing a lot of kind of calculation of positions and stuff. So let's turn the debug off and let's do it manually because that's well, I can just do this kind of. The display on. See, it still looks like it's quite a lot though. Oh no, it's on full. Let's put it on debug. It's not that bad actually. It's maybe 14, 15. I mean, it's on any one frame, and this is not. Oh god damn it! Where's the pause on this? Alt and P. I swear something is different in this. What was it done there? All the music stopped and everything. Stupid thing. I know. Can you hear the music? I can't hear the music. Music's still playing. Well, if it's still playing for you, it's fine. Windows 11 has definitely got its issues. One of the big issues it's got is that I can't use Alt with any of my shortcuts for some reason. Okay, so it doesn't look too bad. It looks like what's happening is it's using about 14 lines. So you can see it's not using an awful lot. I think it looks kind of all right. It definitely looks like a moving force field. The only way I can see this being improved without extending on this too much in terms of performance is to actually physically swap characters around on screen. So instead of doing GeForce Experience can be a bit of a pain. Yeah, but I've never had any problems with that. I think Windows 11 has got loads of new shortcut things in there. So yeah, I can increase its speed, but the problem is the more I increase its speed, the slower it's going to be so the more raster time it's going to take. So which is why I put the border things in. So you'll see if I put like another 2 in here, the border will increase. Now, unless there's a way to make this more efficient, which I'm sure there is. I mean, I've got subroutines being jumped into here all over the place, random numbers. Essentially, it just comes down to there's an awful lot of swapping going on. But maybe I can kind of reuse some of these random numbers or something. These stack pushes might be optimal. Generate car address is obviously going to be slow as fuck as well. Maybe I could pre-generate these char addresses for all the characters in this list. That's actually the way to do it. Actually, so let's do that, and then I'll do that on the next thing. Actually, I'll make a note. So pre-generate char addresses. So that'll be what we do on the next stream, I think. So instead of calling this every single frame for every single character we want to do, so this is called twice. Every frame, this is called twice per swap. So it would be called 8 times, which means it's doing this chunk here way more than it needs to. These addresses aren't going to change, so if we pre-calculate these and just store them, all we need is an array twice the size of this. So it's really not a lot, but it means we don't have to recalculate every time, which means we can do that. The alternative is we just swap characters. So what we do is we look at the list. We create a list of screen addresses that contain force field left, and we create a list of screen addresses that contain force field right. And then what we do is at runtime we just swap two of those over. That will be very, very quick. The problem with that is you're going to see 8 whole pixels change at a time, which is very different to what the game does. It is an optimization. It will be a very fast optimization, but I'd like to use that only if we can't make this work. And I think we can make this work with a bit of optimization around what we do in here. So another thing we can do as well is we can reuse the random numbers. So for instance, here we're getting a random number from 0 to 31, and then down here we're using a number from 0 to 7. So we could actually kind of reuse some of these values, like cross use them sort of thing, to speed it up. We'd still be getting random numbers, and as long as we don't reuse the small, like the trimmed version of the original random number in the same side, if we use it on the other side, it should be fine. And that will half the number of random number calls we need to make. And then we can probably factor out some of these things like the stack pushes, because there's PHP and PLP. I think they're 3 each. I might be wrong though, there might be more. Yeah, PHP is 3. PLP is probably 4, I think. Yeah, PLP is 4. So, we've got to push onto the stack. Yeah, we've got a PHA and a PLA, which is also 3 and 4. So we can probably get around them using direct self-mod as well. So there's a few things we can do, I definitely think. But let's see what it looks like with 4. One of my cats is growling at the other one. Who is that? One of them has pissed the other one off, obviously. Had a shotgun nobbled. So I think that's all right. I think it will look better if we optimize it. We can probably get another set in there as well. But that's kind of looking quite nice. And if we optimize the values a bit more, because at the moment what it's doing is it's always picking. Actually, let me just try something really, really quickly. So it has to pick these 8 numbers. And then these 8 numbers. But what I'd like it to do is if there's a number here, not on the other side, but yeah. One thing to bear in mind, there's a force field later in the game that moves. Can this effect also be replicated in sprites? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Probably be a bit easier in sprites as well. Because you wouldn't have to deal with dynamic character locations. The sprites would be static, and also you probably wouldn't need to do multiple. You could probably get away with 1 or 2 sprites at most. You wouldn't need 16 characters. So actually I think it'd be a bit easier in sprites. Hey Prince Face, welcome. I'm just about to end though. I think that's it for tonight. I was going to mess around with this list here, but I don't think I will. I think what we'll do is we'll stick with what we've got. Let me just see what happens if I really kind of update these like super fast. It might be that we need to update the random number generator to use SID noise just to increase the entropy a little bit of the random number generator, but I think that looks kind of all right. But you can see like we're skipping over into too much raster time, but it does look nice. So we'll do some optimization on that on the next The next stream, there are screens, but multiple force fields is fine because we're only using 8 characters. So it doesn't really matter how many. In fact, if we were to reduce this down to 4, it would probably look more like it's changing more often because we're just repeating the same 8 characters down the screen. So if we reduce the number of characters that's there, it will look repetitive more, but it should look like it's changing more often, which it does. And it doesn't look too bad actually. So now we're using 4. So there's one optimization straight away. It looks like we're changing twice as many, but we're not. We're changing the same amount. So there's one screen with a horizontal and vertical. Okay, don't make me upset. But there's ways around it. This screen is particularly bad because of the swarm. This swarm is very inefficient. It's one of the screens that has to have a high multiplexer count on it. We can, of course, as well. This screen has got almost no optimization on it. I don't think there's any. Actually, if I have a look, no, there isn't. There's no optimization on this screen whatsoever. So we could reduce the. Where's an example of it? It's not this one, is it? Where's a good example of it? Yeah, here. So we can set the performance levels for the screen to reduce the number of sprites on the screen and reduce the number of particles. So yeah, it's going to be fine. I think we just need to think about the force field not as multiple entities on the screen, but just an effect that happens with a set of characters. So kind of like the snow effect that we, or the rain effect I did on the fighting game. The one basically John Rowlands did for Creatures 2. It's only a very small amount of characters that's being changed. It's not like everything on the whole screen is being redrawn. It's just that these characters are being reused all over the screen, and by placing them with kind of random-ish offsets, it looks like the whole screen is completely different, but it's not. It's just the same, 8, 16, 12, however many characters repeated around the screen, but in a tiling fashion, in a way that they can be placed vertically, so they can be placed at any offset vertically, and they'll still tile because the snowflakes never drift over into the other column, if you like. So we're doing the same thing here. We're just creating a column of moving data that we can repeat, and it looks like we've got 20 different entities on the screen, but actually we've only got 8 characters or whatever that we're changing. So it's just a matter of kind of getting that value optimized right. There are things we can definitely do in this class. I think the generate char address, these can be done calculated up front, so there's no need to call this several times per frame, which is going to save us quite a few cycles, plus the overhead of calling this at the cost of a bit of dynamic memory. As I say, we've got as much dynamic memory as we need, more or less. It's going to be very unlikely we run out. So yeah, I think that's it for me tonight. I'm going to go and find someone to raid now. Let me pull up the right screen on here. That's the wrong screen. Where's the right screen? Where's the right screen? There it is. Let's see who's to raid. God, my throat is going. You can tell I don't do very much talking at the moment. Let's raid Chalk. We've not seen Chalk for a while, actually. Let's give Chalk a raid. I don't know what he's doing. It looks like he's doing speedrunning of some kind. I really can't see it from here. Too far away. But we'll go and raid him. Oh my God, my voice really is going. Yeah, thanks for coming along tonight again. I really enjoyed it. I'm sorry it's probably not going to be a stream this weekend. I really want to get my second streaming computers fixed and working. But as soon as it is ready, I will get back to the weekend streaming. There'll probably be a stream on Tuesday. I will confirm on Monday whether or not that will be going ahead. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be doing. It's likely going to be Cecconoid, but it could potentially be multiplayer gaming stream with Sean, so I'm not sure on that one yet. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. Take care as ever. Say hello to Chulky, and I shall see you guys next week as soon as possible. Cheerio. I forgot where the camera was then. Bye.